Welcome to Horror Cinema Obsession. Here, we dive deep into the chilling depths of horror cinema, from the critically acclaimed scares to the laughably ludicrous, and even the delightfully obscure. Now, let's join our hosts, Richard and Angelus, as they share their love, laughs, and sometimes sheer disbelief at the world of horror movies.
All right, welcome back, folks, to Horror Cinema Obsession.
Hello, everyone.
How's my beautiful co-host?
I'm doing good today. The sun is out. I got a lot of vitamin D.
Good vibes.
Good vibes. I started my day early with a parade.
A parade?
A parade.
What parade?
It was Junior Like parade. My niece is in the Girl Scouts, so they were doing the little marching today.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I went and seen my mother.
Ooh, how's your mother?
She's all right, since considering the last time I seen her, I think was Christmas.
I thought you went after that.
I don't know. I'm a shitty son.
Did you tell her, hello, Fummy? You didn't.
Yes, I did.
You're a terrible
And
boyfriend.
she's like, oh, I like that foreign girl. I'm kidding. She knows your name's Angelus.
No, she does.
Yes, she does.
Richard keeps me from the world.
Nuh-uh. Listen, guys, I invite her to go over to my parents all the time, and she says no.
Twice. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, yeah, I seen my mother, my madre. She was cool. Yeah, man.
How are you doing today, Richard?
I'm doing pretty good. Enjoying the sun. Did a little lawn work.
Do a little lawn work. Your lawn looks good.
I know. Bitching, huh?
Bitchin'. Someone freaking dropped a cup, though, by the sidewalk.
Yeah.
You should go scream at someone.
His rat bastards.
These rat bastards. Hey, I was gonna compliment you. I like your cargo shorts.
Oh, yeah. I know. In solidarity with Vienna, I wanted to make sure I put my hopes and dreams in the
pocket?
Yep.
How many pockets do your shorts have?
Mine have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 pockets?
6 pockets for my hopes and dreams. That is the freight that I'm carrying, is my hopes and dreams, guys.
Are you going to share any of your hopes or dreams with us today? What heights in
Now you're
pocket
putting me on
number
the
3?
Well, I don't know which one. Hopefully my hope and my dream is that we're not dropping listeners right now. But
talking about our pocket.
But that's good. Oh, last night you seen Aurora Borealis?
Ooh, yeah, I did.
It was magnificent,
it
I guess. What I heard, I was asleep.
I know.
But in Washington, we got it really crystal clear.
It was the coolest thing. Never in my life did I think that I was ever going to get to see that in person. And it was almost 11 when I got a phone call to look outside from my sister-in-law. And I picked my head out, and sure enough, you could see them far away. So we ended up driving down the road by the National Weather Office station. Mm-hmm. And they were very nice. They turned off the light. That thing is always on, and it's so bright in that spot.
Yeah.
And they turned it off last night. So it was like pitch black, and we got the most freaking gorgeous pictures. It was really cool.
Well, good for you. You had a life-changing experience, so it sounds like. I, however, did not. I was going to sleep, and I watched the worst Denzel Washington movie in my life. It's Ricochet. Guys, it's on HBO Max. Do not watch it. It sucks. John Lithgow is in it. It is not their best work. It's Denzel's earlier work. Like, he's young. Yeah. It's like 1990. But, yeah, it was. So, yeah.
So stay away from early Denzel Washington.
Well, stay away from Ricochet.
Ricochet. Check.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead and watch it, but you're not missing out. But anyways, I digress. Do you have anything else about your day you want to talk about?
No, that's about it. We did the parade. We went and had brunch. We got some boba tea. And we went to a vinyl record store today. Vienna got some sick Metallica.
Ride the Lightning, baby. My favorite album.
She was excited. She told you she's trying to collect all the Metallica albums in vinyl.
Mm-hmm. In my memory.
In your memory.
I'm still alive. And you know what else? I'm going to put her on blast. She says Master of Puppets is a terrible album. She said Master of Puppets is overrated. And guys, please, if you hear this, blow us up on Instagram. Let her know exactly how you feel about that, because I don't think I'm the minority on feeling that it's one of their best pieces of work.
Oh, all right.
Anyways, Angelus, I don't know if I introduced myself. I'm Richard. I'm a co-host too.
You're the talent.
We're the talent.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm the sidekick.
What?
Angeles.
Oh my God. Listen, Hipshot, you're awesome. I love you. Do you want to let them know what movie we're covering this week?
So this week we watched a very exciting movie. I was really excited to watch this with you.
Me too.
Arachnophobia, 1990.
Yes, this movie. So what are your initial thoughts on this before we dive deep into it?
First time I watched it was actually during COVID. Vienna and I sat down and watched it.
Interesting.
And we got a really good laugh out of it. We liked it. It was funny.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's some humor in it. I didn't remember the humor as much. This, it was more entertaining, funnier to me now. But back then, it was like way more horror. I thought it was scarier than it really is when I seen it as a kid.
Did you watch it when it first came out?
Well, I was like 1 year old when it first came out, but
True.
I remember seeing it on TV. I would have seen it on TV, and it would have been like circa 1994, 1995. Would have been in kindergarten, so 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old. Left an impression on me. I still hate spiders. I know I'm not like there's a ton of people that are scared of spiders. I am no different than those people. But for good reason, though. Later on, so I wasn't as freaked out of spiders until this happened. I have a specific incident that happened. So when I was in my, I would say 13 years old, 12 or 13,
okay,
I got banished to the basement of the house. So it sounds worse than it is. There's a good reason why I got banished to the basement, to be in this damp, cold area.
Jesus.
They put so my nieces and nephews came to live with us, and we have a small house. They came to live with us temporarily. It was for like 4 or 5 weeks. Well, we didn't have any room, and they're like, well, Richard, you're going to have to go to the basement. I'm like, fuck, we don't clean down there. It's all dusty and gross. And they still didn't clean the area. And all they did was help me move my bed to the middle of the room. They didn't even move the pool table and nothing. I had to go sleep next to the workbench, and we had a serious spider infestation. It freaked me out. They thought I was bullshitting. So at this point, I used whatever money I had. I was like 12 or 13 years old. I used whatever money I had, went to the Walmart or whatever, and bought a bunch of sticky pads. And I'm like, all right, motherfuckers, we're going to do this. So I turned off the lights and turned it on, and they scurry because I seen this like a couple nights before. I'm like, oh, fuck, I seen something. But I thought I was going crazy.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it again. I turned off the lights and then turned it back on. And I shit you not, I had like 12 or 15 stuck on the tape.
On the tape?
And by the time that tape was done, they were completely covered. Jesus. And I surrounded my whole bed all the way around. Yes. That was terrible. So ever since then, I've had a phobia. And then I forgot where I ended up staying after that. But even my mom was like, oh shit, that's a problem. You better take care of that.
So that's your origin story.
I hate spiders, man.
It makes a lot more sense. I love every time I've seen you interact with the spider.
You give me so much shit. So guys, she grew up in Mexico, Colima, Mexico. So she's used to spiders. She's the ultimate spider killer. I watched her one of our first times, her staying the night. There's a spider, and my fear, I'm like, oh shit. And she's like, what? That's a spider? She grabs it, guys, and then she eats it.
No, you didn't. Nah.
She didn't eat it, but she grabbed it.
I have a different version of this story.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
We had been dating for a few months, and I stayed the night over. I got up in the middle of the night to go to use the restroom, and I come back, and I was surprised. You were like propped up, sitting up on the bed with the blanket up to your nose, just staring. And I was like,
Just a second.
Okay.
I don't mean to cut you off. Guys, this is a wholesome podcast. She stayed the night, but in separate rooms. Continue.
Sure, yeah. I went in to check on Richard.
Mm-hmm.
And Kate's just staring. I was like, what's wrong? And you were like, there's a spider on the TV. I need you to kill him. That was one of our first
No shame, baby.
spider interactions. I was like, no. I thought you were kidding. I thought you were joking. And it was tiny. I have no idea.
It was big, guys.
It was not big. It was small. I don't know how you saw it without your glasses. It was pretty far away. I wouldn't have seen it.
Oh my fucking God.
On a black screen TV, a tiny little black spider. So I had to turn around, go get some toilet paper, and grab it and save Richard from the beast spider.
This reminds me of another story I have. So traveling _T-Rex.
Oh.
You got
it right.
before we bought a house together, she had a house by herself, and I was helping her paint it and doing something while I headed home, and I've gotten rid of it since, but I headed home and it was late, so I'm undressing, I'm kind of half asleep. I shit you not, a spider got into my TV, a big spider, laid a nest, and the nest broke, and they recovered my whole TV screen. Hundreds of little baby spiders. It freaked me the fuck out. But guys, I was a man. I grabbed my vacuum. I fucking sucked those motherfuckers up, dude.
There was no one else to save you.
I was by myself, and then the next day I was so freaked out I didn't even sleep, and I just sat on the couch and watched TV, watch my fucking six, make sure I wasn't getting bit. But I bug bombed that place, man. I just fucking obliterated it. I sprayed every corner. I made sure. But those were my spider experiences. I don't know why the arachnids are attracted to me, but
Smell the fear in you.
yeah. So yeah. Anyways, I digress. This movie, so you like the movie?
I liked it. I thought it has a really good sense of like a little drama and comedy.
Yeah,
and
I like
scares, I guess.
Yeah, I liked it too. So I wasn't as scared. It did make me kind of cringy and like creepy crawly. Like I had to like I felt itchy.
I saw you jump.
Yeah, I was jumping a couple times. But, and they're stressful situations. Hey, when you're in your most vulnerable, like in the shower, going to the bathroom, those are your most vulnerable spots. So, scary as heck, dude.
Your no-no squares.
Yes, scary as hell. And my no-no squares are like vulnerable. So, screw that. But no, I enjoyed the movie. And honestly, how'd you feel about the pacing of this movie? It was 2 hours long.
I didn't realize it was good. It went by fast.
I know, right? So, guys, for the research, I take research of the movies we watch very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how Angelus does, but I watch it. So we watch it at least once together. We try to, but then I go ahead and watch it again once more. If not, if it's really confusing, like Blair Witch, I'll watch it a third time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was effective, but I'll watch it again. Like, and this one, man, I watched it 2 times. And each time I sat all the way through, it was good. It didn't feel like it took forever.
Oh.
It didn't drag on, which I really liked. I love the pacing. I love the actors. I love the characters.
Nice.
So it all kind of played really well. That being said, 1990.
1990 was a year of stuff that happened.
My favorite movie that's not horror came out. Goodfellas. Ray Liotta.
Oh my goodness.
Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. She's giving me a look. She gave me pressure, guys.
You said it was your favorite.
It is my favorite movie.
But you knew it all the names by heart.
I do.
Oh, okay.
I watched that movie a million times. So Goodfellas came out. I just wanted to say that. I wanted to start off. It needs its roses and it needs respect, okay?
Can I tell you a fun fact about 1990 that happened on your birth date?
On September 11th?
Mm-hmm. Hashtag never forget.
Never forget, folks.
The first Pizza Hut opened in the Republic of China. Happy birthday.
What? Holy shit, dude.
I know. I went out of my way. I found something specific to your birthday. You're welcome.
You know what else came out, though?
What?
So Goodfellas.
Oh, my God.
You had some big movies.
Goodbye, Pizza Hut.
That was fascinating. Thanks for that research. So, yeah, Goodfellas came out. Another big movie. We had a few of them. Home Alone came out, which was huge. How'd you feel about that one? I thought that was pretty good.
I like Home Alone. I think
Did you see it in Mexico?
Oh my freaking gosh. Maybe? I think so, yeah.
You did? Like, I'm just curious. I kind of want to watch it in Spanish.
You want to watch it? It doesn't, I don't know. I don't like dubbed movies.
Yeah.
I don't do them justice.
Yeah, so Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin, that's a good one. Dances with Wolves, Kevin Costner, that's a snore fest, but I just remember my mom just loving it. Dances with Wolves, The Postman. She is all stoked on that shit. Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's a pretty good one. Have you seen that?
I have not.
It has pretty good effects in it. And then you have Pretty Woman, that's a good classic. Julia Roberts.
I don't think I've watched that.
Richard
I know what
Gere.
it's about.
What?
What?
Okay.
She's a prostitute and he finds her and he dresses her up
And he
then
puts
they
a
fall in
gerbil in his
love.
butt.
No, he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I would have heard about it.
I don't know if the story came out before this or after that, but there was the story. Everybody knows that, right? You knew that.
What story?
Richard Gere likes to put gerbils up his butt.
I didn't know that, but thank you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
And then Ghost. Have you seen Ghost? Patrick Swayze?
Sure. No.
Whoopi Goldberg?
No.
You've never seen Ghost?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh, we gotta watch that. That's a freaking classic, man. That was the top grossing film of 1990. But, so moving forward, that's just all around movies, right? What are some of the horror movies that came out? Oh, also, before we do that, Godfather 3 came out. Not the best of the trilogy, but you know what? It held its own.
Yeah.
And it's the final chapter, Francis Ford Coppola's epic trilogy, right? Although not as acclaimed as the first two films overall, Godfather Part 3 is not, it does have a compelling conclusion to this saga. For me, it provides a deeper look at consequences of life that's steeped by crime.
In case our listeners are not able to tell, Richard's favorite movies are Godfellas and The Godfather.
Goodfellas and Godfather,
Mm-hmm.
they're just perfect pieces of cinematography. You haven't
About
seen them, so you
monsters.
can't judge, bro.
I'm not judging. I just remember I got a lecture like, you haven't watched this. You need to watch it. And I was like, sure, I'll watch it. And
Godfather's a perfect movie.
you were like, you need to be in the mentality to just sit down for 2-3 hours and watch these.
You got to be in the right mindset.
Oh.
And you guys, I'll never share that experience with you because you criticize it
I
so
did.
much.
It's just funny. You come to me on the day. I know that's the wrong
my
movie.
daughter's birthday. Okay, so the horror movies. Do you know what horror movies came out?
Oh my goodness. It. The freaking origin of my nightmares and clowns came out.
Oh, your favorite actor did it.
Heck yeah, with Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, baby. Shout
Yeah,
out. He just had a birthday a little bit ago.
Happy birthday, Tim Curry. Yeah, the demonic clown that I gave everyone freaking nightmares. I swear we had a clown
Freaked
in
me
my
out.
house. And I remember after this movie, I could feel it staring at me. And I was like, Mom, it needs to go.
So, the clown, and then also the poltergeist clown. Do you remember that in the movie? In the first poltergeist, the clown sitting there.
Oh, yes.
So those equally freaked me out. Although I don't have a clown phobia, those did freak me out.
I don't have one either.
Fascinating. Okay, continue.
Continue. We also have Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, that's a good one. I love it.
Yep, a group of stragglers gather in a farmhouse during the zombie apocalypse.
That's a remake
Oh, that's the remake.
of the original Night of the Living Dead.
And then we also have Misery, one of my favorite movies ever, with the amazing Kathy Bates.
And James Caan, who also is in Godfather.
Let's bring it all back to the Godfather.
And he has perfect posture, folks. If you watch The Godfather, you'll see his perfect posture.
He was also in Elf.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last. He was the dad.
Wow. A world-renowned actor. And you're just
Reduced
pointing
to the elf. And then we had another favorite, Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, man.
Johnny Depp, Winona Ryder.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's a classic.
Yes.
Dude, so this year came out Jeffrey Dahmer's favorite movie, The Exorcist 3. He'd play this for all his victims.
Oh my fucking, I did not know that.
Yep. We have Nightbreed, Clive Barker, who did Hellraiser. He did Nightbreed, which is a pretty good film in my opinion. Jacob's Ladder. Have you ever seen that one? I think you'd really like it.
I haven't. My list.
You love psychological thrillers. This one's a good one.
We also have...
Yeah, Tremors, dude. Oh my God. This one, as a kid, I love this movie. It wasn't scary. It was so much fun. And I love the sequels that came out on like Sci-Fi, the direct-to-TV movies. I loved them all.
How many of them are there?
Oh, there's
3?
a lot, like 7.
Oh, 7?
Yeah.
I think I watched up to 3. I want to say, I don't remember watching that many.
The guy you don't know who he is.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Gosh, every episode, Kevin Bacon. I remember I saw him in another movie after you gave me a full explanation of his work.
Stir of Echoes, Invisible Man.
No, I do remember he's in a movie. He plays a teacher, and there's this girl's like flirting with him and gets him in trouble. It's an older 90s movie.
That might be. That sounds familiar, but is that a Kevin Bacon movie?
It is.
Okay. So Gremlins 2 comes out. Not as good as Gremlins, but still entertaining. Child's Play 2. This is before the epic Child's Play 3 that I like, but Child's Play 2 is the one with the cover where he has the Jack-in-the-Box and he has the clippers gonna cut his head off.
He's in a foster home in this one.
Yep. Predator 2 with Danny Glover. This one takes place in LA. That's a pretty good one. And then Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. This is with Renee Zellweger and your favorite Interstellar actor,
Matthew McConaughey.
What? All right. And then, to round it out, we got Brain Dead and Graveyard Shift, a Stephen King novel.
Graveyard Shift?
Yeah. Do you have anything else you remember?
No, the only other thing that I saw come up was Flatliners, which I've never seen.
So that one, guess who else is in that? Flatliners, Kevin Bacon
and Julia Roberts.
Yeah, and Oliver Platt, and I always forget his name.
William Baldwin.
He's in it too.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland.
Huh. Someone did their research. I'm just kidding.
What else does Kiefer Sutherland act in?
He's in one of those vampire movies. I know I remember him from there.
Yes, he is. He's
oh my
in
gosh,
the legendary Lost Boys. Good job. I always think of Young Guns, but have you ever seen that? It's a cowboy western.
Oh, yeah, no.
Emilio Estevez.
Emilio Estevez, the Mighty Duck.
Mm-hmm. Charlie Sheen's brother.
Oh. I only know
Tiger Blood, baby.
I know him from
Winning.
A Night at the Roxbury.
Wait, what?
That's a line.
Oh.
Line at the Roxbury.
Okay. I don't
guess
remember.
who was there? Emilio Estevez, the Mighty Duck.
Okay, cool. So that's the movies that came out in 1990. Pretty good ones. I wouldn't put this in the perennial bangers series, but it holds its own. It's got some pretty good ones. So the cast. How do you feel about this cast?
I recognize a couple of names.
You recognize the names? Do you recognize the actors, like when you seen them on the silver screen?
Yes. Jeff Daniels and John Goodman are the two.
John Goodman?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so Jeff Daniels, man, he is pretty awesome. Around this time, he didn't get Dumb and Dumber yet. That was in 1994. But this one, 1990, right in the middle of his career. And it just showed his versatility, I think, because he kind of took it. It's serious but comedic. I thought he did a pretty good job as Ross Jennings. And then John Goodman, I thought he was in this movie way more than he actually is. He needed more screen time. Would you agree?
He was pretty good. He was funny.
But he was barely in it.
Do you want to know? So something that I saw when I was doing my little research.
Mm-hmm.
For John Goodman, so in order for Spielberg to, agree to be executive producer in the film, one of his stipulations that he had is that John Goodman have a role in the movie because he loved working with him.
I heard this.
Since their last work that was Always in 1989.
And wasn't John Candy supposed to be the original actor for this?
Yeah.
They wanted him? Oh, man. So I'm glad they picked John Goodman. He plays the role pretty good. He plays a goofball.
He's such a character. He just comes in the room and
he reminds me of a different character. He reminds me of Bill Murray in Caddyshack. You ever seen that? So it's just that, kind of a dumbass, goofy, but he's hilarious. I wish he had more screen time. Because when he showed up, I mean, it was awesome.
He has so many quotable lines.
Yeah, we'll get into it, but yeah, I like it. Then, really, after this, I wouldn't say their name brand, except maybe who was Frances Bay, everybody's favorite grandma in that time period, was in all movies. Happy Gilmore, we already covered it. One of the best movies ever, in Angelus's opinion. Gave it a high score.
High opinion.
Critters 3.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, you have Julian Sands, who plays Warlock in the Warlock movie. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's not good. We might have to cover it.
Okay.
And then Harley Jane Kozak, Stuart Pankin, Brian McNamara, Henry Jones, Peter Jason, Mark L. Taylor, Roy Brocksmith, Kathy Kinney, James Handy, Garrett Ratliff Hansen. So I don't recognize these names. Do you recognize any of those names?
No.
And guys, we're awesome at our job. I don't think we did a deep dive in all their acting credits.
And their acting credits?
Their filmography.
Jeff Daniels, John Goodman.
Jeff Daniels, honestly, he might be one of my favorite actors of all time. He's really good. He's a likable character.
Harley Jane Kozak, who plays Molly Jennings.
Yeah.
She was on When Harry Met Sally,
That's
The
right.
Favor, Parenthood, The Righteous Stones more recently.
Oh, The Righteous Gemstone.
Yes, The Gemstones. And then Brian McNamara. Apparently, he's been in Army Wives, NCIS, and Hawaii 5-0.
What?
Well, I haven't seen any of those things.
Dang. Okay. So someone did their research. Good for you. Good for you. So Jeff Daniels, I did do his filmography. He was acting in the 80s, which is kind of cool. He did Terms of Endearment, The Purple Rose of Cairo, Something Wild, Dumb and Dumber, Pleasantville. Have you ever seen that with Tobey Maguire? Oh man, we got to watch that. It's pretty good. The Hours, The Squid and the Whale, Good Night and Good Luck, Looper. I liked him in Looper. I'd never seen Steve Jobs. And then The Martian, he's pretty good. Have you seen that? That was a Matt Damon-led movie.
The Martian? It sounds familiar. I think I might have.
Where he's stranded on Mars. Matt Damon.
Oh, yes, I do. I have watched it.
And then he has television credits too. The Newsroom, which is pretty good. I think it's on Apple TV. Or it was, maybe not. Oh, it's an HBO series. And then Godless and The Looming Tower. So he's been pretty busy, all things considered. Like, he's had a pretty illustrious career, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Now, what was I reading? He resides in Michigan, right? Still to this day, he never was never tempted to go live in Hollywood or in the mainstream. He stayed in Michigan, which I thought was pretty cool to keep his kids away from all that fame and hoopla.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then he runs a theater.
Oh.
He owns a theater wherever in Michigan, wherever he lives.
The one thing I saw is his family owns a lumber company owned by the Daniels family. And apparently he was in this work called Purple Rose Theater. So for the Purple Rose Theater that you're talking about, the company is the one that provided all the materials to build this theater.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool information. Do you have anything else on your research on Jeff Daniels?
No. I mean, he did a little bit of producing, a little bit of writing, but nothing that that I knew prior to looking into him.
Yeah.
So maybe more small TV stuff.
In the 2000s, he kind of stayed back a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of went out of the spotlight. Stayed busy. He was still getting work, which is cool, but not like anything you'd be like, oh, wow, Jeff Daniels. He just happened to be in movies.
You know what? Good for him. He went out. He did his thing. He got his name out there. He made some money.
I love it.
And then he stayed out of the spotlight. So
but he was still he was still acting.
Yeah, but like in comparison to other,
he didn't have anything to prove. Like, he's been quoted saying, I have nothing to prove at this point in my life. I've done it all. Now I just want to enjoy my work, my craft, which is pretty awesome.
But in comparison to other people, they try to stay relevant and do outings and go to all these events and just keep having their face out there. He's just does his job, it seems like, and then goes back to Michigan.
Yeah. Now, Frank Marshall, he's the director of this movie. So he didn't direct a whole lot of movies, but he is mostly famous as a producer too. But he co-founded Amblin Entertainment alongside with Steven Spielberg. He's known for his close collaborations with Spielberg and other prominent filmmakers. Do you know some of the movies?
Yeah, so in his collaboration, another producer
he's kind of a legend.
It's Kathleen Kennedy, his wife.
Ah, fascinating. So yeah, some of the movies he directed was Alive in 1993. Congo. Have you ever seen Congo? This reminds me of Arachnophobia is shot similar to Congo. And I don't know, we might have to watch Congo, but I don't think it holds up, to be honest with you. If I'm remembering right, it's about gorillas, and our boy from The Evil Dead, Ash Williams, is in it. I think he ends up dying though.
Thanks for spoiling the movie.
I'm sorry. And then he did a wholesome Disney movie, 8 Below, 2006, with our boy from Fast and the Furious, not Vin Diesel, the good-looking one. What's his name?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Paul Walker.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so he did that. And didn't Cuba Gooding Jr. do Snow Dogs? I always get those movies mixed up.
Yeah, Cuba. Yeah, well, he was in Snow Dogs.
Oh, so you've seen Snow Dogs, not 8 Below? Interesting.
No, I have watched Congo.
Okay. Do you remember anything about it?
It was forever ago, so no.
I just remember the white gorilla.
Oh my god, sound effects. Sorry, guys.
Hey, guys, you can still hire us. Come on.
Oh my god.
And then, so his latest thing that I seen that he directed was in 2020. He did the Bee Gees. How Can You Mend a Broken Heart? It's a documentary exploring the career of the Bee Gees. So I don't think I've seen that. But so that's his directing, right? Mm-hmm. Producing, though, this guy's a freaking legend and pretty much my whole childhood, man. I can thank this guy. He's part of it. Indiana Jones franchise, Back to the Future series, The Sixth Sense, the Bourne Identity series. That's a pretty good one. Jason Bourne. Mm-hmm. And then Jurassic World. So those are some pretty heavy freaking movies, man.
Do you know he also had an acting role in Indiana Jones, one of the movies?
Ooh, who was he?
I couldn't find his character, but he was in the Temple of Doom, 1984.
Oh, we'll have to watch that. Have you seen any of the Indiana Jones?
I watched one.
Which one?
I don't know.
Home Atlanta.
I did. I don't know.
Who are you?
I watched, what's the other one with Angelina Jolie?
Whoa.
There are Tomb Raider movies.
Oh, Tomb Raider. I thought you were going to say she was in Indiana Jones.
I watched those movies, and then I watched one of these, and I was like, I like Angelina.
Oh, my God. Guys, don't listen to that. I'll try to cut that shit out.
Oh, whatever.
Oh, my God. Ugh. So anyway, Marshall's career is distinguished by his versatility, moving between directing and producing, and his ability to deliver entertaining and commercially successful films across the ranges of all genres. Pretty cool. Also, he is a Virgo, born September 13th, 2 days after me, but in 1946, Glendale, California, baby.
Are you guys gonna get matching tattoos with the Virgo horoscope? Are you gonna get the actual symbol or the actual the stars.
Okay, so my birthday's September 11th, like she said earlier, guys. I'm getting Twin Towers, baby. Never forget. Just like the tattoo you put on your chest for me on, what was that, Valentine's Day? Oh my God, guys. She did this with no shame. No shame.
Hey, I went out of my way.
Never forget. We always joke about it. Like, we're kind of dark and sick like that.
No, Richard jokes about
No, so our wedding planning, we're doing a September 11th themed wedding.
I didn't agree to this. I'm saying no.
The Twin Towers as the cakes. Think about that.
No. Nobody would come to that wedding. I think you would be standing there by yourself. I don't know that I would show up to this wedding.
Oh my God. That's terrible. I thought you loved me.
I will do a redo of the wedding like the next day without Twin Tower stuff. Yeah. We can go to Costco and just get a normal cake.
All right. Fair enough. But you do love me?
I do love you.
Then you would do that wedding.
Oh my God. What?
Okay. So I digress. Before we get into the plot, do we have anything else to add?
Ooh, I found a fun fact about the word arachnophobia. Because, I'm a nerd and I like looking for stuff like that in my research.
Mm-hmm.
So, not you, like you said, you're not alone. Arachnophobia is like one of the top one phobia all the way around. So, you got a lot of people right on your side.
Solidarity, baby.
Solidarity. So, something that I found that was interesting, the first use of the word was in 1863 in Greek mythology.
Oh, shit.
Coming back to this a-hole Athena. So, there was this woman named Arachne. She was a weaver. And she challenged Athena at her craft. And so Arachne won the competition by weaving a tapestry that Athena considered it to be disrespectful to the gods. And so she got mad. She tore Arachne's tapestry. And in despair, Arachne was crushed. So she hung herself.
Okay.
And then Athena was all pissed. So she loosened the rope, which became a cobweb. And change Arachne into a spider. And so today, spiders, scorpions, mites, and ticks all belong to the class known as arachnids. And arachnophobia, like I said, is the most common of the animal phobias.
Dang, even more so than snakes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What do they call the snake phobia?
Snake phobia is ophidiophobia.
Oh, shit. You had that ready? Oh, my God.
I did. Do you want to know the dog phobia?
There's a dog? Who would be scared of dogs?
I don't know. Cynophobia. And then mice and rats, musophobia.
Really? Fascinating. And what one are you scared of most?
Of most what?
What animal?
I have ophidiophobia. Snakes.
The snakes?
I don't like the snakes. So you fight the snakes, I'll fight the spiders. Deal?
Baby, I'll rip a snake's head off for you.
Cool.
I got it. I'll use my teeth. Yep.
I wouldn't expect any less.
Got you. All right. So before I think the next step's the plot. Do you want to take a quick break?
Yes, sir. I need to take a sip of my energy.
Sip of your energy. Okay, cool. We will be right back. All right. And we're back. So during the break, your daughter, Vienna, reminded me, you have a story for me. I haven't heard this, guys. She was all excited. I told her to save it for the pod, but apparently it's gross and I just want to hear it. And I think we should share it.
Why?
We won't name names with anybody involved, but let's share the story. Let's hear it.
It's really gross.
I'm
I don't
down.
think that people want to listen to this.
Angels, this is a horror podcast.
It's not as scary.
Yes. Let's do it.
Trigger warning. When I heard the story last night, I gagged several times at the thought. So this is just a story about hygiene, people.
Is there good sound effects?
No, I'm not doing sound effects.
Dang. Okay.
It's a hygiene story. Again, trigger warning. I got a story of someone that I met years ago. This person, we'll call him person number one.
Let's call him Randy.
Randy. So Randy was in an entanglement with person number 2.
Karen.
No, but Randy.
Okay, we have Randy and Karen. Is there any other characters in this story?
No, just the 2.
So Randy and Karen. Okay.
No, but Karen has nothing to do with this. This is all about Randy.
Okay, let's hear about Randy. Continue.
You know, you see someone and you think they're very wholesome and whatever, and then you hear stories, people getting real comfortable with themselves. So I was told to tell this story to you because you get grossed out really easy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
How do we know this?
How do we know what?
I have a pretty strong.
No, you don't. There was one time we were filtering through old food and there was mold.
Okay, guys. There is my roommate, by the way. Well, let's just say she had some moldy food in the fridge. They were going hard in there, and they opened some of that stuff, and oh my God, I about passed out.
Richard almost did pass out.
It was bad.
He ran out of the kitchen, left his food cooking on the stove.
Oh my God.
His eyes were
that
in the
was the
back of his
best
head.
pozole that we had in this house, okay?
Yeah, you did a really good
Canned
job.
pozole. Not as good as your mom's.
But it was pretty legit.
In a pinch.
She liked it.
I added the bay leaves. God, stupido. Retrasado. That's what was said. That's what she said to me.
No. She just said it was better than one of the restaurants.
Yeah.
Your pozole was approved.
I mean, that touched my heart right there.
Touched your heart?
Mm-hmm. Very kind words. Anyways, let's continue with the story.
No, Randy, one time, he was spotted out in the wild he would, in his most comfortable self, when he thought no one was looking, he would, like, pick his teeth, like, floss them with like a toothpick or his fingernails. You know that tar that comes out of your teeth and the gunk in the food?
Yeah.
He would eat it.
Off the floss?
Not off the floss, off his fingernails, the toothpick.
Fucking gross, dude.
He would clean his teeth and scrape it off and then eat it.
Randy is a fucking piece of
time,
shit, dude.
He was out in public and other people spotted him and they were in shock.
That's disgusting.
That they saw Randy.
That's sick.
Grabbing.
People see he did this in public?
He did this. He slipped up. He did this in public around other people.
Who the fuck?
And he was scraping away at his teeth and grabbing everything and just shoving it all back in.
Guys, if you listen to that, please Instagram us and tell us what you think of Randy's situation. Are you guys like gunk eaters or what, man?
Ew, gunk eater?
I don't know. That's pretty disgusting. That's gnarly, bro.
Pretty gross.
Ew, that's like sniffing your belly button after picking it.
Oh my God, I heard a story of a belly button too.
What?
So this person, we'll call him, what do we call him? You're the creative one. Give me another name.
Lyndon.
What?
Lyndon.
I don't know that I can pronounce that. Lyndon grew up in the middle of nowhere, and he was very naive, and his mom used to tell him that to not pick his belly button because it's a sensitive area when you're in your mom's womb, like you're connected to her, so don't touch it.
Dude, my belly button is an open thing, dude. It's real.
It's a black hole. So he was told never to pick it, right? And so he never did. So even when he showered, he wouldn't like wash his belly button or anything.
Ew.
So what's his name? Lyndon?
Yeah.
Lyndon grew up.
It's your friend, not mine.
Oh, I know him through levels
Is this
down.
Mexico?
What?
Lyndon.
Lyndon grew up in Mexico.
Oh.
But Lyndon does not live in Mexico anymore.
Oh, okay.
But Lyndon grew up and got married. And one time his wife was like, "What's that on your belly button?" And it was just dark. And she was like, "Can we get it out?" He's like, "No, you can't touch it. My mom said never to touch my belly button." This was like 30-plus-year-old man. And
dude.
She was like, "You know it's safe to wash your belly button." And he was just like holding on to life to this belief that you can't touch your belly button. So he's like, "No, I can't. Like, if I like wash it and whatever this black gunk that's on my belly button is, I'm going to get sick and die. So when he was like napping one time, his wife got in there, lifted his shirt and dug it out. He was freaking out, and it was just a plug of lint and dirt and everything else that was collected.
Cool. So guys, message us on the old Instagram. Which one was nastier, belly button Lyndon or nasty ass Randy? I'm going with Randy.
Randy was
but
gross.
Equally, they're both disturbing. Although Lyndon sounds like he had childhood trauma, which he could get over the belly button issue.
He could get I don't know. He thought he was gonna pass out.
Oh my God! Hey, before we get into this movie, Arachnophobia, 1990. Do you have any ghost stories for us?
Not today.
Not today? Oh man, we love your ghost stories. That is the number one thing we get in our email from listeners is they want to hear more Angeles, Colima, Mexico ghost stories. Or even I'll listen to the ones that happened in the States too. It's cool.
In the States?
Mm-hmm.
We need to bring my brother so he can tell you
that legendary one.
Ghost story.
Guys, a haunted air compressor. That's fucking gnarly, dude.
It is gnarly, man.
Man, that's awesome. So in previous podcasts, you can listen to other ghost stories. I believe we mentioned them on the last, 6 of them?
Maybe
4 or 6 of them. I can't remember. There's so many stories. Anyways, do you want to get into the plot of Arachnophobia? Which I love the name, by the way, Arachnophobia.
It's
fun to say.
Of your tongue.
And when you say you have an accent, it's like Arachnophobia.
I don't know how you were saying
Arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia.
I like it. It's cute.
It's cute. Did you talk about the budget and the movie success?
So the budget was like 22 million, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then it grossed, and this is all, I'm not even looking at my notes, 53.8 million.
Okay, pretty close.
What is it?
53.2.
God damn it.
You're off by 0.6. That's
a huge margin, but not as much as the other movies we've reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty, I mean, let's be real. That's a huge chunk of money. It's a successful film.
Yeah, 8 million came during the opening weekend. And 30 million from home rentals. So a lot of people were taking it home.
Well, this was the boom. The 90s was the boom. You had your Blockbusters, your Hastings, whatever, Hollywood Video. They came out, man. That was huge.
Hollywood Video.
So, yeah. So a modest budget. It wasn't bad. So, do you want to explain the plot?
The plot. I lost my plot. You took my page.
I didn't take shit.
You did. You borrowed it. You peeked at it.
You shoved in my face.
I said, look.
She's all proud of her research on this one, guys.
It was fun.
She's usually freeballing. She doesn't note.
I memorized the movie. What's up? Except for Blair Witch.
Oh my God. That one just won't die. You know what? The Blair Witch, honestly, has gotten the most
listens.
Yes, and people mention that one all the time like it was good. I thought that show was complete dog shit, but it honestly is our best show according to our listeners.
Yeah, we got a few comments that they like that episode.
It fucking blows my mind because I thought we were fucking out of our mind. We were in the void. We didn't know what we were talking about. We were lost. That was unreal. Vienna passed out.
She did too.
I digress. This one's going to be amazing. What's the plot of Arachnophobia?
So when a venomous species of South America, specifically Venezuela,
a new species,
spider hitches a ride to the U.S. in a coffin of a photographer that is killed.
Yeah.
The deadly predator begins to wreak havoc in a small town in California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the gist of it. So this takes place in Canaima. It's a made-up city in California. It's funny because Canaima stands for spirit of evil, and it actually is coming from a Venezuelan national park that's called Canaima, which is kind of a cool deal. Cool deal.
One of the fun little references that I found for arachnophobia. People were calling it 8 legs, 2 fangs, and an attitude.
I like the spider they call Big Bob.
Big Bob.
So yeah, the beginning of this movie though, it pans into the river that he's riding on, the photographer, and this photographer that we're going to find out is from Canaima. He's going in and he's meeting a team of researchers. Who's the researcher? What's his name?
Doctor. My goodness, what is the name of the doctor? I have it right here. Dr. James Atherton?
Yeah, Atherton. So he's meeting him and his team down there. And he clearly has COVID or something because he's sweating. He's got a fever. He's got malaria.
It's Venezuela.
I know, but he has a fever. He clearly is sick. And they're like, come on, you piece of shit. Let's fucking get rolling. We got shit to do. This guy's struggling. By the way, props on the Miami Dolphins hat. I love that hat. The vintage. I would wear that.
There was a Miami hat. I missed it.
Dolphins. But anyways, they end up going down. Atherton saying, hey, there's this new area. We're going to check it out. He's excited. Over years and years of this water running, it split this area to where it's isolated and nothing gets in and nothing gets out. Pretty much. Is that what the gist of it is?
Yeah.
So they're getting through it. It's kind of funny because the guy's complaining. He's like, God damn it. I don't even know why he's out there. Like, he's a photographer, obviously. But what's his profession? Because clearly he does a terrible job. He doesn't take really any pictures.
I don't think he's a wildlife photographer. I think he's like a wedding and birthday photographer.
Why the fuck did they send him out there? So they get down there, right? Or they're heading down there. And the indigenous people that are in Venezuela, it's funny, they're in loincloths and their face paint. Mm-hmm. What's the guy say? He's like, he says it in Spanish that he's not moving any further.
Yeah, he said that's as far. They help him carry their stuff, and he says, "This is it. We don't go any further than there."
Yeah, and then the guy asks, he's like, "What'd he say?" And he's like, "Oh, he stops here," and that should be a red flag. Mm-hmm. But he's like, "Oh, it's just the indigenous people. They're just wild imaginations." So they keep walking down.
They just live there, but okay.
And when they walk down, though, this is where he runs in, and this is trouble. But you'd think you'd take pictures of this. The spider webs.
Oh.
Doesn't he run into it?
Yeah, so they get down there. I thought, you know what they reminded me of? Like the Dollar Tree's spider webs that you buy for Halloween.
Oh, I didn't get that vibe. I thought they're pretty good.
No, they're too shining. They're too strong.
Well, no, they're strong because it's a new species.
New species. A little too strong.
Imagination, Angelus.
Oh, okay, sorry. Dollar Tree.
So he gets tangled up. He's like, oh, and then the guy comes and helps him. But the guy, what's the dude say?
He's like, hey, ten cuidado, es muy grande para cargarlo de aquí. Essentially telling Manly, the photographer, and like, hey, dude, like, careful. If you die, you're too heavy to be carried out of here. That's his concern.
We're leaving you behind.
Really fucked up.
Which I love they sprinkle that type of humor throughout the whole movie. Yeah. Just little quips like that I thought were really entertaining. What happens next?
And then the doctor, why do I keep forgetting his last name? Atherton. It's hard on my tongue, okay? Atherton.
I know, it's too white.
As the Spanish. He starts spraying gas everywhere. And then he freaking kills a bunch of butterflies. They just see.
So that big gun thing, I don't remember that until like when I rewatched this week. I didn't remember that thing. I'm like, what the fuck is that thing? All it does is make exhaust. Really? And then they shoot that up the tree. And their concept was, well, what was it? What'd they compare it to? Oh, throwing a firecracker in the water. What happens? Things come up. He's like, well,
he sprays it.
Yeah, and watch this. And then he's like, get ready, folks. And then they all put their hats on. He's like, why? What's going to happen? He's like, just watch. And then the butterflies are dropping.
Which at first I was like, I wasn't sure if it was just making him fall asleep, but they weren't moving at all.
No, yeah, he killed them, and then he's like, dude, you idiot, take pictures. Because the guy's just stunned. He's like, what the fuck? Which I would be too. I'm like, holy shit, you could at least told me what you're doing so I could be prepared better.
I feel like this would have been a game point for the get-go. Like, this is your job. This is what you're going to take pictures of.
I can't tell. Like, how do you feel? Is this Dr. Atherton, is he smug? Is he an asshole or is he good? Because I can't tell with him. Like, is he being an asshole to be an asshole or because he thinks he's superior? Or...
No, I feel like he's good. I feel like he's working with some not so smart people.
Right. So I think in this situation, he's being a fucking piece of shit. He's an asshole.
Whoa.
But I think later, he's still a piece of shit when they call him. Because he's like, oh, you're just another schmuck calling about fucking trying to blame the arachnids. But when he does get there, I think he does get better, where I start thinking maybe his attitude isn't asshole. It's just kind of maybe he's got a certain personality.
It sounds like he's a big deal researcher. So I'm
world renowned. He
must be having a lot of people reaching out to him all the time, constantly asking him stupid things. So at one point, you got to get tired of the stupid questions. So if he's at this level and he has this photographer who's like stumbling to walk through the jungle and is just, having a hard time keeping up, I'd be like, hey, what are you doing? You're getting paid? Yeah. Do your job.
What are you doing? We're working here. Trying to get these arachnids. So yeah, and then they do stumble upon their collection because they put these like funnels into these jars and they're collecting all the butterflies. Well, they stumble upon the new species. They don't know it yet, but the spiders. They think the spiders are dead because the guy, what's the photographer's name? I can't remember.
Manly.
Yeah, he's like, are you sure they're dead? And he goes to take a picture. This is the one that I legit jumped at because he got close and then that spider pounced onto the camera. That freaked me out.
Was that your first jump?
Yeah, that was my first scare. I thought that was pretty cool. And then he's like, I think he steps on it. And Atherton's like, well, it was dead. He's like, no, it fucking wasn't. And then he's like, well, if it wasn't, leave it to you to go kill the spiders. Your first instinct. Yeah, the thing jumped at me. Of course I'm going to kill it.
Yeah, and the doctor's assistant, his name is Higueras.
He collects one, right?
Yeah, he catches it.
They think it's still dead.
And then it starts moving in the jar. And he's like, yeah, this is impressive. It's alive.
Yeah. And then this is where Atherton, which doesn't make any sense. He's like, well, we'll collect 2 and then we'll kill 1 or whatever. We'll collect 2 specimens and kill 1. Well, the one they do have, they put a cotton ball in there and it's enough to kill a small elephant or some shit.
The spider is? Or the whatever's in the cotton ball?
Yeah, the poison.
Oh, okay.
I was like, that's kind of stupid. Didn't you just get on the dude for stepping on one?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect a researcher to be like, kill him. It's whatever,
I mean, I get you got to dissect one, but dude, catch another one at least. But at this time, you see Big Bob, right? Or no, is this the queen? It's just staring him down, and then it's kind of in the brush watching him.
Yo, assholes.
Yep, and then as they pick up their little stretcher thing full of supplies, the spider jumps onto the stretcher thing and hides and hitches a ride all the way up the mountain.
Free ride.
Yep. So Atherton and his crew, they're super excited. They're doing research. They're looking at the butterflies. Well, the photographer, Madley, he is clearly has malaria or some shit, COVID. He had the very first strain of it, and he's just sweating. He's not doing too good, so he's going to go rest. And in this situation, I don't know why, this spider has a real hard-on for this guy because he gets out of the fucking bag and crawls and makes his way all the way to the guy's tent as he's laying down and gets under the covers.
Crawls up his leg.
Yes. And I thought for sure the spider was going to bite his no-no square.
You got to sing this song now.
No, you sing it. How's it go?
You know it.
No, I don't. How does it go?
I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Moving on.
Touch my no-no square.
I don't think those are
No?
No, it's don't touch, not touch.
Oh. So yeah, he's like, oh, I'm not doing too good. Something's itching him. All of a sudden, he tries to swat at it, and that's when the spider bites him. And then he gets up and he makes the most like goofy looking face. He's like that. He goes into tetany, tightens up, and then he passes out and has a signature blood running down his mouth, like his lip.
Bit himself. Richard, we need a camera on you. While we're recording, you have the most amazing facial.
Oh my God, I'm Italian, okay?
You should have been an actor in your other life.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then who was the helper?
The assistant.
Yeah.
Give this man some credits. He's the one who finds Manly dead.
And he's like, Professor.
He's out. At least they didn't have to carry him out of the of the actual.
They were
researching.
Did you get the vibe they weren't super empathetic about it? Because Atherton's like, did you get the film? Like that was the first thing. And then they put him in this fucking wooden box, which okay. But then he's like, all right, cover it up, notify the family, or asked if they did.
And they just hammer it down.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that to be the protocol to ship someone back to their
And then this
house.
is implying the spider's smart because it's trying to hitch or ride and crawls in the box. Why is the spider doing all this? Like, I know it's doing it for the sake of the movie, but why would the spider do that? I don't understand.
Because it's a new species. They came and fuck with its environment. So now it has a freaking vendetta to get revenge on this group of people because they came and killed the beautiful butterflies. The end.
I don't know, man. You're giving the spider too much credit.
They're smart. That was the whole thing of the movie. The spiders were really smart.
Well, no, yeah. So they did what other species did. Like they explain it a little bit too. Like, oh, this is the general and the soldiers. What they do is cover a certain area and smother that area and kill everything in sight, like ants do and like bees. I think they said
this spider was riding solo.
Yeah.
It was on a mission.
Yeah. I just that part of the story I was like, but anyways, they had to move it forward, so they had to explain it somehow. The spider getting to the States. I just think they could have done it a lot better, but anyways, now the scene, it's a pretty cool scene. I think that Hearst is pretty cool.
Oh,
that it's driving into Canaima with the dude's body
with Neon League.
Yeah, it's and he's getting dropped off at the mortuary.
Yeah, Kendall Funeral Home.
Mm-hmm. And the old trope, the mortician eating food, has a sandwich and puts it on the table. I fucking like that is so outplayed, and it does it a few times in this video or in this movie. It's kind of annoying.
It's only his character that's always munching and putting food down.
Yeah,
where you have dead bodies. To me, that's gross.
Well, that's gross, and that they're doing it for comedic effect. But I also don't like it because they also like, oh, he's overweight, he's fat, he has to eat. Like they mention this or they show this several times. Him and his wife.
Apparently, that was a thing in the 90s because the last movie, Critters 3, they did it too with that lady.
That comedy doesn't age very well to me. No. I don't think. But yeah, anyways, I mean, he puts the sandwich down, whatever. So he opens it and he's like, oh shit, this guy's body is just completely lost all its blood. The spider sucked everything out of him. He shriveled up. So he calls the family and says, I know you want to do an open casket, but I advise against that. And
yeah, he's like, he's suggesting a closed casket because maybe the preservation methods in Venezuela are not as good.
Yeah, which, I mean, it did come in a wood box. Yeah. It wasn't temperature controlled. Who knows how long it took to get there. So it's kind of understandable anywhere if you shipped it like that.
Just in a wooden box.
But yeah, so now the spider, it escapes out of that box. You think it's going to like get the mortician, but it doesn't. He crawls out of the box. The dog or the cat sees it. You hear noise. It scurries off and it goes through the doggy door. The spider does. And then the crow comes down, grabs it like it's hitching a ride. The spider's so smart that it grabs it and it knows, oh, this is the perfect spot, and then kills the bird, lands exactly where? In the old Daniel's house. That what's the family's name?
Jennings.
Yeah, the Jennings, Dr. Ross Jennings and his family bought, and they're just pulling in with their moving truck and cars, right?
Yeah, so they're moving into the house, getting boxes inside, and then their son, Tommy, he runs outside.
His name's Tommy.
His name's Tommy.
Noise.
Noise. Yeah,
Noise.
and he sees a dead bird. And he's like, cool. And then he runs back inside. And then he's talking.
The family. So he's like, yeah, get inside, Tommy. And so then he grabs a champagne, which he's stoked. He's moved out to the country. He has a cellar or a basement now that he can put his wine that he's been collecting. He looks like he's an avid wine collector.
Mm-hmm.
So he's excited. He's like, oh, just put it in the basement. He's like, wait, no, put it in the cellar. And he's all excited about it. And then he has a little exchange with his wife, doesn't he?
I believe so. Yeah, about how they left their old life behind.
So did she get fired? She mentioned getting a severance.
Something happened, or maybe she just left.
Can you quit and get a severance package?
I don't think. I know if you quit.
I don't know. I don't know too much about that. I haven't been that established before to work a job, so I don't know. But usually, from when I see it, it's when they get let go. They get a severance package.
Yeah, and then
so yeah, she sucks in her jaw, guys. Economy's rough.
Oh my god! And then Tommy finds a spider, and he comes and tells his mom.
Well, he tells his dad.
His dad to kill a spider.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh shit, a spider." He's like, "Okay, let's go take care of it, but let's find your mom."
And they're like, "Hey, mom, you're in charge of killing the spider," which I feel like that would be our situation. That's
100%, no doubt. You're the spider killer. You eat spiders.
Yeah, I toast them, add a little, sesame seed oil, little salt and pepper for Richard, and I put it in his food, and he just doesn't know.
That's disgusting. But this is where you learn that Ross Jennings, the Dr. Jeff Daniels character, has arachnophobia. He has a fear of the spiders.
And then
they capture it. And then they're pretty nice people. They're from San Francisco, so they're pretty progressive.
The mom says that it's bad luck
to kill a spider.
To kill a spider inside the house.
And he's like, "You're full of shit. You make that up." But then they let it out in the barn.
Mm-hmm. And then
so later that night, though, they're unpacking or whatever, and they're all excited. They're talking about it. And he has a thing. He's like, well, it's always good luck to make love the first night in the house. And she's like, you're just making that shit up. And then they go to make love. And I thought this scene was fucking hilarious. As they're going to make love, then the spiders.
Spider found another spider.
And it implied they're going to fuck.
Yeah, they're like rubbing their freaking tentacles together.
I thought that was fucking hilarious. I'm like, whoa, dude, there's a lot of sex going on tonight. Damn, the heat is on. So, yeah, what happens after that the next day?
They go to, so Roz moves here because he's going to be the new town doctor.
By the way, he didn't talk to this guy. I feel like before I would even have moved there, I would have talked to this doctor one more time. Like, are you sure you're retiring? Like, that's the plan. Before I invest all my money into this and sink all my money, are you retiring? Because that's not what happens. For real.
Yeah, and he goes and talks to him, and then Dr. Sam tells Sam, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm not retiring after all.
Fucking
and he
prick.
was your stereotypical older person. Like, no, I'm just going to keep working forever. And
my wife couldn't talk me. Yeah, my wife couldn't talk me out of it. Neither can you. Which I don't. How would you feel about this? Because I'd be pissed, and honestly, that doctor better watch out because I'm about to fucking whoop his ass.
He was pissed. Like it sounds like there was an agreement in place that he was moving. Dr. Sam was retiring, and Dr. Ross was taking over, and he shows up to be told, no, Never mind, it's not happening.
I feel like that would be something to tell someone, like, hey, I'm actually not going to retire.
Yeah, so tell this doctor to save his money and not move down here.
Yeah. So now he's left with no patients. He thought he was inheriting the whole town. So now money is going to be tight. But when he walks out, he does meet his neighbor,
Margaret.
Yeah, which I thought she was a pretty cool lady. I like the actress that played this character, because as he walks out, the cop, he's writing him a ticket. He's like, dude, I got medical plates. He's like,
Parking ticket.
Tough shit, man. You went to Yale.
Yeah. So she's like, I don't care. You're still getting a parking ticket.
Yeah.
And Margaret stands up for him, and she's takes the ticket from the Sheriff Lloyd and rips it up to shreds. And she's like, no, he's a doctor. You're not getting him a ticket.
And it turns out she was a school teacher, because she's like, I taught that fucking piece of shit. He was a bully then, too.
Yeah, he's still a bully. She was funny. I liked her.
Sorry, guys. I'm calling everybody pieces of shit tonight. Feeling a certain way, okay?
Someone pissed on your Cheerios, Richard.
No, I had a pretty good time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so Margaret was like, yeah, she sounds like she's not super happy with Dr. Sam, and then offers.
Oh, he's he's archaic with his fucking MD knowledge.
Yeah, offers Ross. She's like, you know what? You can be my doctor. He's like, all right, well, I have one patient.
Well, yeah, so he's stoked. They have plans to meet tomorrow, but then he ends up going home and has to drop the news to his wife, which she kind of hints, well, I can go back to work, like she has a choice. You got fired. I'm just saying. You got fired. But he's like, nah, don't worry about it. Who knows? Hopefully she has all these problems. It'll be like having 7 patients in one. Making a joke.
And then you see Ross, Margaret's first doctor's appointment the next day. And they're talking. She mentions that she has high blood pressure. And he's like, actually, you don't. He runs tests on her. And he takes her off of, because the Dr. Sam had her on medication.
He said the diastolic's good and the systolic is a little above average, but should be all right.
And then she likes him. She takes a liking to Ross and tells him, when the weather's a little bit warmer,
I'm going to throw you a party. Or before it gets too cold, I'm going to throw you a party. Because it's starting to get cool. They're getting in the cooler months. Because this is why that spiders now begin to thrive, because it deals with colder weather. If you remember, in the jungle, the degrees dropped.
They were like 2,000 feet down.
Yeah, they're like, holy smokes, it's getting colder or whatever. I think that was the theory behind this.
And then while he's over here with Margaret back at the Jennings home, Molly goes into the barn. They have this really, really old barn.
She's taking
next
pictures
to their house. Yeah. And she goes out there and she finds this huge spider web in the barn. And she grabs her camera, takes pictures.
And she's like, whoa, that spider has been busy.
And the camera zooms out and you see the entire top of that barn just covered in spider webs.
Would that be a red flag to you? I would not step foot in that barn, and I honestly would probably catch it on fire. It'd be done.
I would have immediately called an exterminator and said, I'm not waiting. Like, there's way too many spider, especially that size and the thickness of those webs.
She didn't even give a fuck. She just gets up there, clicks the pictures. I'm like, oh shit, dude.
And then Ross comes home and she's like, hey, you know how you have this phobia of spiders? You should come with me to the barn. And
get over your fear.
Trying to talk him into, which I actually saw in my research, that's one of the therapies, that's exposure.
Fuck that shit.
And so she's kind of on track and she's like, we can come out, see it a little bit at a time, and it'll help you conquer your fear of spiders. And then he tells her his origin story, similar like yours. He was naked and exposed. I'm just kidding. Richard wasn't exposed.
No, but he goes into his phobia like, I was a baby. I was naked, vulnerable. I was innocent. And the spider came crawling on him and he was frozen, petrified. It was his first memory.
It was the spider. Yeah, this is where it came from. So they go in there and they look at this thing and it's everywhere. The spider web on the ceiling.
Yeah, he's like, what the hell?
And then she's convincing him and talking him through it. And she's like, come on, honey.
To his credit, he does. He's like, I'm going to do it. He does get up the ladder to go look at it.
And then freaking to his luck, he crawls up there. And when he starts going up further, a dead mouse falls
Well, the thing he reaches and it breaks, the wood breaks.
The wood breaks.
And then a dead mouse comes, which a mouse is now in a web. I'd be like, I don't know about you, but basic knowledge, that spider's pretty fucking big, dude.
Yeah, to be killing a mouse. That's
and then eventually a cat.
And so Ross freaks out. He falls down. And then you can see in the barn, they zoom in the camera, there's like a nest. You can start to see the nest of spiders that's kind of brewing. That was gross.
So, and it's pulsating. I thought that was pretty cool effect. I liked it.
It's like moving.
And then, that's where do we see the spiders leaving it now? And it's all types of spiders. It's the house spiders. It's the tarantulas crawling out of that nest, right?
Yeah, there's little baby spiders hatching slowly.
And then, so the next scene is now at
Margaret's.
Yeah, her house. She's thrown the party because she's like, well, when that doctor came to town, he wasn't liked and he threw a party. And that's why she's throwing this party for Ross so the town can get to know him. Everybody's having a good time. You're meeting a lot of the characters that aren't necessarily important, but another character, I don't know. Have you seen the Drew Carey show?
The Drew Carey show? I don't think so.
Cleveland rocks. Ohio.
No.
Anyways, it was popular in the 90s. You were in Mexico. But Mimi, she's in this. So anybody that's a 90s kid or can have memories of the 90s knows who Mimi is. The hardcore makeup, she doesn't have it in this one, but she's married to the mortician.
Cool story, man.
It's cool. It doesn't have an effect on you, but I guarantee there's other people it does.
Mimi! The mortician's wife.
Yeah, and they're snacking. Again, they're doing the comedy. They're just eating a lot of food. But it seems like it's going well, right? But you do see Spider crawling around. You think somewhere it's going to happen. But the party goes relatively good. Everybody was leaving, had a good time. Things are winding down. Margaret is now getting settled in for the night, right?
Yeah, but before we move on to Margaret, this is where you make the first connection, kind of giving you clues that there's a spider in town. So there's a couple, Manly's parents are talking about how their son died in an expedition in Venezuela.
She's drinking a little too much.
Yeah, she's upset. Sounds like it was pretty recent and they brought him it was recently happened and they brought him back.
Well, at least someone has some emotion about this guy's death.
Yeah, so there's a little connection like of the connectivity between Venezuela and the town.
Nobody's putting it together yet, obviously, but they're setting this up for the movie.
Yeah, and then, Margaret gets settled down. She's sitting on her couch, just kind of winding down, talking to, I'm assuming it's her husband, picture. And
she's like, you would have drank too much punch, but you would have been the life of the party, and kind of kissed the portrait.
Picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she goes to turn off the light.
Lets the cat out. And this is where you see the spider because she walks inside after saying bye to the mortician and his wife and their plate of food. But she walks inside and then the spider crawls up into the doorway. And then you later see it on a chair and the cat's right there. So I thought right there the cat was going to get it. But then Margaret quickly picks up the cat and then lets her out for the night and tells the cat good hunting.
Goodbye, little kitty.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. She comes inside. That's when she kisses the picture frame. And then you see the spider walk across where her milk is, her glass of milk on that table. But then it's in the light. And then she goes to turn off the light. And that's where it drops down and bites her.
And goodbye, Margaret.
She's an early exiter.
Yeah, and then I don't know, was it the same night where back at the Jennings home, Ross is in the cellar caressing and admiring his bottles of wine, hanging up shelves so that he can put everything up.
That chateau.
And he's putting up nails and then upstairs.
So the wood's rotten and he's trying to like kind of sturdy up the wine racks and he's shooting the nails into it. He's figuring out it's not holding. So then he shoots the nails right up top and it's just exploding the wood.
Well, upstairs, Molly's looking down and she starts noticing that they're just coming right through their floor.
Yeah, 2 of them.
But that's scary. Imagine stepping on one of those.
Fuck, imagine that just going up. Ouch.
God, he comes upstairs and she's like, honey, like the wood's rotten. Look at all of this. And
well, he's like, oh, fuck, I could have killed you guys or I could have hurt one of you guys.
And then they're talking about the party last night and how great it was and that they should probably go and thank Margaret for hosting the party.
She's concerned because she hasn't heard from Margaret. She tried reaching out to thank her. And basically she's like, hey, man, go check it out. And he's like, all right, you want me to go check it out? Okay. He goes over there. He does a weird thing, though. He grabs the cat and kisses it. It's not his cat.
He likes cats, man.
That's fucking weird to me, man.
Is it?
No, don't touch other people's cats.
You touch my cat all the time.
What? It's our cat. It's our grandchild, okay?
That you come and visit
Wellesley
once a week.
Sabbath Duran, okay? It's her full name.
It's her full name.
Mm-hmm.
The cat has some friggin' attitude.
It does. Dude, yeah. Fuck.
She has been trying to scratch my couch and spray a certain chair.
Yeah.
So
well, you put blankets on it, and she fucking hates those
nice
things.
Covers on it from freaking Amazon. And ever since, for 2 nights in a row, she kept going and peeing on the blanket because she doesn't like it.
Oh, man. Get rid of that cat.
That's mean.
But so anyways, he's kissing other people's cats. He goes up to the door, knocks on it, doesn't answer, but then he looks through the window and sees her body on the ground. Clearly she didn't have life alert, could not like notify anybody of an emergency, and he calls the ambulance.
And then Dr. Sam shows up, the sheriff, everybody's there trying to check her out. And Dr. Sam, his first thought is that
he's a flat earther.
That it's related to heart attack and that she had pills that he had prescribed.
Even on the pills, he's like, yeah, she had a heart attack even with the pills she was on.
And Ross says, actually, she doesn't have any heart problems. I took her off of the pills. And immediately he's like, oh, well, in that case, you're responsible.
Yeah.
She needed them. You took her off the pills. So essentially, Ross is to blame for killing Margaret, according to Dr. Sam.
And he's like, well, I'm going to fucking now charge you. This is far from done. I'm going to
malpractice.
Yeah, get you for malpractice. And because Jeff Daniels' character, Ross Jennings, he wants an autopsy. He's like, this doesn't add up. This is weird. I just seen her the day before. She was fine.
Yeah.
And she did have heart attack like symptoms, but any normal person, even back in 1990, would have seen a bite on her hand.
Yeah, you would have seen something there.
Yeah, like, I don't even care who you are. You doesn't even take an autopsy to see that. That's just crazy to me.
She had a bite.
But anyways, it's part of the story. He's pretty bent out of shape about it, right?
Yeah, he's venting. He's, super stressed out, which I would have been too.
And he's down to no clients.
You show up to this town, now you have 0 clients. You don't have the job you thought that you moved for. And his house is rotten. Margaret is dead. He's being accused of being responsible for her death. And then, all by what he says is the country doctor from hell.
And then, so they go to the funeral, and he does get business from the gym coach.
Yeah, he tells him, I know that Margaret was your only client. Come by and see me, and I'll help you get some more clients.
Yeah, he's like, hey, man, you're only as good as your last game. I know, I hear you. And so there, he goes to the gym, right? That's the next scene.
We meet the exterminator first.
Oh, yeah, because they think they got termite issues.
Yeah,
this is my favorite part. John Goodman comes in and they play the happy music. I love that music, by the way.
His truck says, bugs be gone.
When he goes down, he's like, well, she's like, I think my husband thinks we have termites. He's like, oh, is he an expert? And she's like, well, no. He's like, okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and essentially she asks him, she's like, well, what do you think the problem is? And sure, it was bad wood.
Well, yeah, he gets down. He's like, oh, man, one would think it's termites, but it's not. It's bad wood. She's like, what? How do we fix that? Well, at first he's like, hey, does anybody attest me completely tearing this floor out? She's like, I do. He's like, okay, moving forward, lead on. And then he's tapping the wood. And then he's like, I know what the problem is. Bad wood. She's like, what? Yeah. And then she's like, what do we do? Okay, bad wood. Take that out. Put in good wood.
The end. Easy peasy.
That was his advice. I fucking love it. But no spiders at this point.
No, and then then Ross goes to the high school to meet the coach. And the job looks like it consists of doing physical exams on students.
Before that, but when the exterminator, John Goodman's character's in the basement, he grabs the thing. He's like, "Oh, your husband's a collector of wine, right?" And he shakes the bottle really like, I don't think you're supposed to do that. He's like, "I'm a collector too. I've got a vintage beer can that's spelt wrong or whatever." He's like, "Yeah, only 100 of them were in circulation.
Yeah,
your husband might want to come check it out."
Yeah, no, because Ross was being so careful with his wine, putting them in this like nice wooden boxes.
And this dipshit
just shaking him around.
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, I'm a collector too." Because he also makes another comment. He's like, "Oh yeah, nice to meet another colleague." When he meets Atherton, you're a fucking exterminator, bro. This guy's just a spider expert, a scientist. But then it's the gym's the next scene.
Yeah, they're at the gym doing physical exams.
Okay,
what is this test
do
called?
you?
I don't know what this is called.
It's a physical. It's to test for a hernia.
And
to make sure.
No score.
Yeah. So you turn your head and cough. So I had a series of these as a kid. I'm always uncomfortable. So it doesn't show him putting on a glove, and there's no time at all. I am disgusted, bro. He did not put a glove on.
Well, the thing about this scene, he has his students lined up, and it looks like the locker rooms, and their underwear.
Mm-hmm. And they all have to drop their drawers.
Is their chest, and you just see his hand drop, and they're all making faces, and he's just moving from one student
staring him in the eyes.
To the next, just grouping.
Yeah, that's how physicals are. I don't know if they still do that, but that's
in front of everyone
doing.
else, though.
Mine was always at the doctor. Like, I'd have to go to the doctors and then they'd do it. But I don't know if they still practice that.
I'm so glad I don't have testicles.
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say. That would be weird if you're going and you're getting your hoo-hoo touched every time to see if you can play sports.
Your balls fondled. Man, it was always awkward.
Did you make eye contact?
Always. I'm like, "You're doing this. We're making it intimate."
You blink twice.
Just stared at him.
Just stare at him.
Yep.
Good for you, man.
Yep. So yeah, and then they get out to the football field to practice, and the coach, by the way, his daughter is going to be a aspiring coach too. She's going to college to be a coach. But anyways, I remember the party. But they're on the football field. It's the Broncos. And they're practicing. And the guy's going hard. And he's like, "Hey, do you know the plays?" Because the player didn't run his route right. And the guy's like, "Yeah, I know, like the back of my hand, coach." He grabs his helmet, which a spider you watch go into it. And he puts it on. And then as soon as the receiver runs its route, he stops and then he gets bit, and then all of a sudden gets just smashed by the other players and does not get up.
No, I thought they all think he got tackled.
Yeah, he got concussed or something.
Yeah, and he just passes out. And so Ross is still sticking around after all of their...
Well, yeah, because he's the doctor or whatever.
Yeah, he's in physical exams. And he runs over and, he confirms that there's no pulse and this kid is dead.
And giving him CPR, and he's like, "Holy shit." And then it cuts to the funeral for the kid.
Student.
And that's...
Dr. Sam's there.
It makes the comment. People. Yeah, he was the last person to treat this guy, too. Just stirring shit, dude. And then what else happens at the funeral? Was there anything else?
Nothing, just that. And then the funeral's over. Everybody goes home. And
he goes home and his kids are just crying on the porch.
Yeah.
They're calling you Dr. Death.
And that you want to cut people up because he wanted to do the autopsy on Margaret. Yeah.
Well, he explained it really well. He's like, "Hey, man, to get to the bottom of things, sometimes you got to do it. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but you have to do it. That's how we figure things out." Which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah. And then so they're home, so they're pretty upset all of this. Again, he's not having any luck with patients.
And then, is this where it cuts to Dr. Sands? Is that his name? He's on his treadmill?
Sam's. No, not yet. Oh, actually, yes.
Because he's on his treadmill, his wife's in the back, in the bed, and they're bullshitting. He's like, yeah, he's just a real go-getter, blah, blah, blah. He wants to bring his big town logic to a small town. It doesn't work like that. He gets off. He's like, I gotta go shower. And she's like, well, the floor's cold. Put your shoes on. And he's like, ah, you're always right. And then you see the spider crawl into the shoes.
And yeah, he puts them on and steps on it.
This is my biggest fear, by the way. I hate that. I always shake my shoes before I put them on.
You know, we had scorpions where I grew up.
Fuck.
So that was the thing. You had to check your pockets and your pants sometimes to make sure there were no spiders. My dad actually put on his pants one time, put his hands in his pockets and pulled out a scorpion that was like asleep, just curled up into a little ball.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
True life, man. But
is that why you guys wear open toe shoes all the time?
Yeah, we ain't scared of nothing. Bring it on. No, I just gotta let the dogs breathe, man.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. So he gets bit, but then after all the shit he was talking, as soon as he gets bit, he's like, I'm having a seizure. Call Dr. Jennings. Call the ambulance. Call Dr. Jennings, which the wife does apparently. And then he gets the call, Ross does, and he's like, oh, I got to go to the other doctor's house. And then the wife makes the comment, God, at least you didn't see him.
Yeah, she's like, thank God you didn't examine him this morning.
I thought that was pretty good. And he's died. So this is, I was going to ask you, the character that comes in and talks to him and examines the doctor's body, who is that? He's a medical examiner?
I think so.
You know who I'm talking about? Yeah. He has the white hair.
Isn't it Briggs?
And he wears a bolo. Yeah, a bolo tie.
Yeah, I thought it was Briggs.
Because he's like, oh, you're that hot shot that thinks he knows everybody won't take the opinion. And he's like, whoa, I will take anybody's opinion as long as I agree with it. And then the guy's like, okay, fair enough. And he's like, I think it's a spider bite. Look at this. He's like, even if it was, I've never seen anybody die of a spider bite. It was 20 years ago. A kid died from a black widow bite.
20 years ago?
Yeah, that's he says. He's like, yeah, that was the only spider bite I've ever seen. It happened 20 years ago. It happened to an infant child.
So spiders are harmless.
Yeah, basically is what they're saying.
Okay.
So then, but the guy backs him up. He's like, okay, let's get autopsy. I'll do whatever you want to do as long as you get the wife's permission, obviously. And then they run the tests, right?
Yeah.
Because he's like, okay, hot shot. He calls him like the next day.
With lab results, which that was super quick.
Yeah, and he's like, dude, you're not going to believe it. It's either poison or even a spider bite. I'm willing to believe whatever is going on. And then that's when he asked to exhume the other bodies so they can examine, which they do. And Lloyd has Lloyd has a problem with it, but he's like, fuck you, Lloyd. Dig these fucking bodies up.
Oh, the sheriff.
Yeah, and this is where then they call Atherton. And Atherton's busy and he's brushing it off. He's like, look, everybody's quick to blame spiders. There's every 5 acres, there's what, like 100,000 spiders or some shit?
Something like that.
And they kill about 100 spiders per thing. So they kill like a ton of, like they're essential to the ecosystem is what he's saying. But he's like, look, I'll tell you what, 3 deaths. That is weird. I'll send my assistant out. And then he does. Kid's name? I can't remember.
What was the one that they sent over to help?
Yeah. Which I think he was more help than Atherton, to be honest.
Well, he was there more. He was sent over to do
but he wasn't an asshole either, though.
Was it going through my note? Is it Chris Collins?
Yes. Chris Collins. He's like, all right, I'll be there tomorrow. And so he heads down there, right? And they're examining bodies. He's clearly not excited about this, but he's like, is this a spider bite? He's like, I don't know. I think so. And then he examines Margaret's body. He's like, now this. He's like, that is a spider bite. And then the guy next to him is examining the football player. And then he finds a spider bite. He's like, okay, this isn't just a coincidence. Like these are obviously all connected. And then they wanted to get proof because he calls Atherton, Chris does. He's like, hey, they want to shut this town down. They want to quarantine it. This is beyond my scope. I need you to come down here and make this call. I'm not making it. Right?
Yes.
And that's where Atherton's like, okay, well, try to find a live specimen for me.
The other thing, so Atherton's, he has a box with the spider that he's observing. And when Chris mentions Kanaima, he's like, oh, that sounds familiar.
Either he does or Jeff Daniels does. And he's like, Kanaima.
Atherton's.
Yeah, well, Atherton does. Yeah. But he's like, Kanaima, I know that place from somewhere. What house do they go to? You know, Lloyd.
The first house that they go to is Margaret's house, because that's the...
Is it?
Yes, they go to Margaret's house to look for, now that they think that it's a spider, to look for a spider and examine her houses. It doesn't sound like there's anyone there. Try to find a
spider.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're in a team. They're like, Lloyd, you take the kitchen. Chris, you go out back. The other guy, the medical examiner, you go somewhere else. And I'm just going to supervise. That's what I do best.
Yes. The one thing I thought it's interesting. So they know that there's a deadly species of spiders that's killing people, but nobody's wearing any like protective gear, gloves, nothing.
So that's what's kind of outlandish about it, right? You think this is the thing, and clearly it's killing people. One bite. I would be fucking hazmated up. At the very least, I would be putting newspapers around my fucking wrists, my neck. I'd be covering with something thick. Like, fuck that. The spider ain't gonna take me down.
Yeah, and you see Sheriff Lloyd, he's just poking his head around.
Doesn't give a fuck.
Box of cereal.
He thinks everybody's full of shit.
Excuse me. And one thing that Ross mentions a couple times throughout the movies up until this point is, you know what, we haven't heard crickets in a couple of weeks. This is
brought up twice. The coach brings up, he's like, yeah, these damn crickets and at the gym. And he's like, I haven't heard any crickets. And then they're like,
Yeah.
Like, if I'm new to the town, I wouldn't have thought twice about it.
No.
But he does. He stops and thinks. He's like,
Well, him being a true arachnophobia.
And then Chris Collins says, oh, in these nests, it's a bunch of cricket body parts, right? And then he's like, that's where you're saying, oh, yeah, we haven't heard crickets. Like, it's been really quiet. And then they kind of look at each other like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, and then back to Lloyd, just minding his own business, just freaking eating, kind of, not even, he doesn't at all look like he's
bored.
trying.
He's snacking.
And then fucking lo and behold, he pulls a dead spider out of the box and freaks out.
Which I would too, man. That's another big fear of mine. Like drinking a whole pop or something and then looking inside and a dead spider, grabbing fucking food. I've heard about this, like, or in canned food, there's like a dead insect in there. Oh, disgusting.
We found a can of tuna once and it had a fly in it.
Ew, do you eat tuna anymore?
No, occasionally, not often. I was never a big tuna person.
Even with a fly in it?
Oh my God, Richard.
That would scar me for life.
Well, you're telling everyone I already eat spiders, so might as well add the flies to the mix.
Hey, you made me eat for a date. Well, 2 months into our relationship, 2 months into our relationship, I had to go on a vacation with her and her family.
He was screaming for help the entire time.
And she made, like, her family was all watching me, and they made me eat this seasoned cricket.
No, actually, Richard was competing against a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old to see who would eat a cricket.
I did. I was proud.
And he saw the littles trying the crickets, and he's like, I'm not going to let them show me up.
What's up?
And so he threw a cricket in his mouth.
I ate a couple of them.
You won.
I ate a few of them.
And you dipped it in guacamole and chips.
Mm-hmm.
You masked the flavor.
Everybody else was too. Kick fucking rocks. My gosh.
And then you jumped pretty hard when Lloyd pulled a spider out of the cereal box.
I was freaking out, squirming. So they come rushing in, and he's like, oh man, this one's dead. And they're like, what? That's a good thing. They're like, no, we can't investigate. It's been drained of all its blood. We need to find a live one. You don't get that lucky. And then he's talking to Ross in another room, the dining room or whatever. Mm-hmm. He then looks behind a picture, and one of the spiders launches at Chris. But he does a Matrix move and fucking gets out of the way, and it lands on the table, staring him down. This freaked me out too.
This was a freaking show of who's the bigger man.
Well, and then Chris is like, hey man, I'm going to try to get this, right? He's like, I need your help. You got to step close. And Ross, he's petrified. He can't move, right?
Yeah. Which I feel like that would have been you too.
Yeah, I ain't
And
fucking
then
helping.
Chris grabs his glass and moves in quickly and puts it over the spider.
Well, when Ross steps forward, because this spider is staring him down, and he's like, oh, fuck, I can't get close to this thing. It's going to attack me. So it took a team effort. They do manage to collect a live one. And at this point, does Atherton come into town?
Not yet. So, and then I think you can, this next scene, the spiders slowly start like infesting the town and moving from one
coach's house
to the next. And then they make it to the coach's house. And then this is where you see his daughter.
This is a weird one because she's in high school, and then you get that boob scene.
And
I was a little uncomfortable. I don't know. That's weird.
And
wouldn't you agree that?
What?
Like that she's showering, she's in her most vulnerable.
I don't know. Maybe she's 18.
Maybe. I don't know. But they do a real like intimate shot. Without showing too much, they show enough.
Well, the spider was calling.
Which is effective because this makes me cringe. How'd you feel about this scene?
I don't know how she didn't feel something crawling from her hair.
Didn't feel the spider web either when she reached up to the faucet.
And it increased. It went quick. So the spider came crawling down, fell in her hair, and it slowly crawled down her neck, through her chest, down her leg, and she didn't feel it went to her chest,
and she's like, ah, and then it just slid down.
She didn't notice it until it was like almost at the bottom of the tub.
Well, then she's screaming and kicks it down the drain.
If I'm showering and you feel something on your hair, you would have noticed it right away. And she waited, of course, again for the whole scene. It had to walk all the way down her body. But you would have felt it right away.
Oh, dude, that's why I have a fucking shower wand. I'm ready to fucking spray those motherfuckers in my most... Nobody's catching me in my most vulnerable.
Yeah, it walked down her face and into the tub. And Richard was freaking the heck out. I had to tell him to calm down.
I know.
Take deep breaths.
That's hyperventilating. And then, not only that, another most vulnerable position, the coach is trying to take a crap, dude. He's trying to poop, and a spider's behind the seat. You think he's going to get it.
But then he doesn't.
And he hears his daughter scream. He's like, for Christ's sake, do we ever get peace and quiet? And he goes up there, sees his daughter completely naked, and he's like, what's going on? And then the other awkward scene, the brother stares at her for like 3 seconds. The naked body. He's like, what?
What's happening? My sister's all grown up.
Part of it's weird. Like, I got a weird vibe out of that family.
And at this point, the exterminator is back at their house. It's at their house, just checking it out. And it looks like they're doing rounds and checking everybody's home. The exterminator, they call him. Oh, because of the spider?
Yeah, he's like, I'll get it. I'll find him. And he goes up and he continues to talk. He's like, you know what? Honestly, because he's like, hey, I heard a spider. The doctor thinks the spiders killed these people, including my Bronco, his player. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, I've never heard of spiders killing people. He's like, I had a colleague in Florida. He got bit by several of them, and he didn't die. He lost all his, he went to the bathroom. He shit himself, but
oh my gosh,
he was still good. He survived. He's like, there's no spiders here. Even though he reaches behind the toilet and the spider is there.
He didn't see it, though.
And he sits on the seat.
Maybe he didn't smell good.
What?
The spider?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. That shit freaked me out, dude.
No, yeah, but then he goes outside. He's just spraying pesticides.
He has a showdown with one. He's like, oh, you motherfucker. And tries to spray it, and it doesn't kill him. It's not potent enough. And then that's when he says he has to bust out his own personal mix.
And then doesn't he finally walk over and just steps on it? And then one of my favorite lines, after he's steps on it, you see the goo on his shoe. He's like, yeah, that's right. I'm bad.
Yeah, I'm bad. That was pretty good. And then now where we're at.
You're back at the doctor's office. I think this is when Atherton
Shows
shows up.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Ross is trying to catch him up and he's like, hey, yeah, we had a body come from Venezuela a couple of months ago. Maybe one of the spiders. Because at this point,
Hitched a ride.
Hitched a ride back to Canaima.
Because now it clicks. He's like, hey, you had a photographer? And he died. He was from here. And then that's when Atherton's like, oh, shit. Okay. And then really takes it serious. And that's when they dissect that spider, right?
Yeah, and one thing the Atherton says is that the spider that they caught had no sex organs, which would make them essentially soldiers.
Mm-hmm. And it had the venom. It had like an extra sac, and then the fangs were longer.
Yeah, and then what his theory is that this spider mated with the female local spider and created a lethal species, which was taken out the town.
And that's when they point out that these spiders are doing what they've seen in other insects, where the soldiers, the general, and that kind of stuff. And I think they make another comment again that like, oh, I don't want to see this general. Like, and then, but my favorite part of that scene is when John Goodman comes in. He's like, oh, nice to meet a fellow colleague.
Acting all fucking like he's such a, badass.
And he's like, I just seen one of those specimens. He's like, really? Do you have it? He's like, yeah, actually, it's on the bottom of my shoe.
And then another thing that Atherton says is that in this case, he is also expecting a queen spider to have been created by now. And when the queen and the general procreate, those spiders are just they'll take out entire towns. Well, then
then they can start reproducing, right?
Yeah.
And it'll go town to town.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That's bananas.
So.
And then you see the coroner's house. He's having a date night with his wife.
So they call, they're like, oh shit, we got to really quarantine. We got to shut this town down. They try to get a hold of him because they think that's the hot spot where it all started.
The coroner's house?
Yeah, because that's where the body went to. They
went to the funeral home.
Yeah, they're trying to get a hold of him to get to that place because he's the only one that can get in that place. Well, because they don't know the bird flew it all the way to his house, but it's off the hook. And then Lloyd is like, oh man, it's wheel time, Wheel of Fortune. They always take the phone off the hook. So kids, that if you don't know, because we're all in a day and age where we don't have a house phone, you used to be able to take it off the hook and you could not reach the person because the line was busy.
Hashtag back in my day.
Crazy shit, dog. So anyways, they rush over. Atherton calls someone else. They're trying to get everything kind of in motion. And then they're going to meet up later. Right? And they rush to the mortician's house.
Mm-hmm.
You want to walk us through?
Wah. They're having a date night. And they're eating popcorn.
Well, their typical night, Wheel of Fortune, which... Are you a Wheel of Fortune fan?
No.
I like Jeopardy, but even then, I can't watch that a whole lot either.
No. So, yeah, you see he's making popcorn. He's getting everything ready to sit down. And then you see the spider crawl into the bowl of popcorn. And he doesn't see this, carries it over to the living room, and he sits down with his wife.
They're curled up in blankets.
Dark. And that's why I'm calling it a date night.
It's very sweet. But they do this every night, because Lloyd says, he's like, yeah.
Every night, man.
Yeah, but they're sweet. They love each other. They have a routine.
They're just sitting there grabbing handfuls of popcorn, and this is where it gives you like so much anxiety, because every time they reach, you can see the spider just kind of moving around in the glass bowl. And the coroner, he takes the handful of popcorn first, and the spider bites him.
They don't show it, though.
Well, that's what happens.
Right. They don't show it, but they do show them when they go in there, and the house is unlocked because it's a small town. They're like, oh, small town, cool. So they walk in there, and they're yelling like, hey, man, we gotta lock down the city. And then there's no response. And then Dr. Jennings gets close to the face. There's no breath. And he goes to the mortician's face because he looks at the wife first, then goes to the mortician. And then a spider comes out of his mouth.
That would be disgusting.
I know. And then he jumps back. He's like, holy shit. And everybody's stunned. Even the exterminator, he's like, oh, fuck.
We got a real problem on our hands.
Yeah, now he really believes. So then they go outside and he's like, do you got a map? And then they start putting everything together, right?
Yeah, they're trying to figure out where, well, the thing at this point, their goal is to find the nest where the spiders would be. And so.
Well, they still think it's the mortuary.
They're trying to figure out where it is. And then, Chris explains that the nest would be somewhere that's moist, dark, and there would be like eggs.
But they put two together in the map where they're like, oh, the football field's here. Margaret's house is here. Mortuary's, not mortuary, but other spider instances, the coach's house. And then dead center, he's like, that's the mortuary, right? And then they're like, no. That's my house.
Ross says, yeah, it's his house.
And he's like, fuck, I'm so stupid. And because then he's putting two together, like you said, the cellar, and then also the barn.
And yeah, and then before this, Atherton also, when he was at the doctor's office, he noticed the picture. Remember the picture that Ross's wife Molly took of the spider web? She went and hung it up in his office, and he sees it, and he asks the same question, like, where was this picture taken?
Yeah, the old Daniels house.
And Lloyd was like, yeah, the Jennings home.
And he's like, take me there.
Yeah, and they go there.
So, how do you feel about this part?
When he goes in there?
Yeah, like, dude, you gotta be smart. Obviously, these spiders are fucking killer.
I get that this is his living and this is his specialty, but if they're deadly spiders...
Would you go in there, though? I'd be waiting for people.
I don't know. I feel like some of these, like, specialists, they get a little excited sometimes and they act a little bit reckless. But if you know that it's killing people and he himself said that they're gonna take out entire towns, I would have taken a little more precaution before walking in there on his own and just like freaking trying to man it down and trying to find this spider on his own.
At least wait for the cavalry, because then he goes in there like he's a hotshot and he's gonna capture it. Dude, you're a fucking idiot. He goes up there and that's when he like a cat falls on him, right?
Yeah, he's just like at this point the barn is just covered in spider webs.
Red flags everywhere.
Yeah, there's a dead mice, like you said.
A cat.
A cat.
Yeah, it was in the web.
And he pulls on one of the webs a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, the spider is super ready."
Mm-hmm.
And he's just kind of poking around, and at this point, the spider jumps on him and attacks him.
And then that's the end of Dr. Atherton.
For being a specialist, he went out pretty easy. Went without a fight.
Fucking idiot. Well, he was a fucking idiot. Like, dude, wait for everybody, man. Why are you doing that stupid shit? I know for a fact I wouldn't do that shit.
Well, I don't know that you would.
But, so anyways, the other three guys, they're rushing over. And they get there. John Goodman's suiting up, man. He's getting ready for the fight and goes to the barn. And he's like, motherfucker. And he has the potent shit. Now, when he sprays the spiders, it's like smoke's coming off. They're melting, disintegrating. He's kind of happy about it. But he does it. And then he tries to like go up or whatever. He hits something. And then the body of Atherton falls down. He's like, holy shit.
Which that was fast. He's like hanging there upside down, completely wrapped up in
webs.
Webs.
Yeah.
How the hell? He was on the floor.
Yeah, I know.
And then he's hanging.
Yeah, like implying really the spider's huge. Yeah.
Pulled him up.
Which the spider was big, but not that big. Let's be real. But then now you see Chris and Dr. Ross Jennings going in the house. Michael J. Fox makes an appearance on the TV. Family Ties. Shout out. He doesn't want to alarm the family, but he's trying to get them out. And at this point, they all scream because now across the TV screen, a spider hits it.
And at this point, just slowly, there's like tons of spiders that are just coming out of all places.
This is the funny part, because when they get in there, relatively easy, no spider in sight. But all of a sudden, and I don't get this part of it, I'll let you continue the story after that. But the TV, he pulls the TV down. Why? You just ruined your TV. You need that TV later in life. What are you doing?
He's trying to get the spider with the TV.
But behind it was even more spiders. So I don't know if he was trying to deter that spider on the screen so it didn't launch. But then he had even more behind it, like 5 of them.
They're just magically popping up everywhere. And he's telling the family to quietly and carefully get up and walk away. And I don't know why. They try to go out the front door first. And at this point, the front door is just covered in spiders.
Yeah.
So then they go upstairs. And then again, another scene where you see the spiders just be working as a collective. They start following the humans upstairs after them. And you see him slowly trying to creep in underneath the door, through the holes in the door handle, and just everywhere.
I feel like every horror movie, like the logic is obviously not to go upwards, but
they always do.
Go upwards. Like. And then, yeah, so they're coming through everything, and the family get through the window. Everybody does except Dr. Ross Jennings. He's screwed. He's like, fuck, I don't know what to do. They're coming everywhere. He's stuck. But at this point, John Goodman's outside, right? And then he starts spraying it. So, he's coming into the house, man. He's coming in hot. It kind of shows, I don't know if you were paying attention, but he's like moving. It's kind of a funny looking scene.
He's like rock and roll.
Yeah, he's like rock and roll. But then it shows that he's just like moving around, like he's just excited. He's ready to take these fuckers out, doing what he was meant to do.
Yeah. And then Ross, he's just panicking. He doesn't know what to do. And he falls.
Well, how he leaves the bathroom.
He's running around.
But how does he get through the bathroom door?
I don't know.
But yeah, anyways, he gets through the bathroom door. I can't remember how or why. But then
the living room,
they're springing down on him, and he's like, ah! And then he goes over the banister, doesn't he?
He falls in, and he falls through the floor.
Fucking termites or bad wood, baby.
Right into the cellar.
Yeah, which would be pretty painful. He's like, he wakes up because he briefly is like knocked out for a second, and then he shakes himself off, and then he realizes there's no spiders. He's like, fuck the nest.
Yeah, and he looks up and it's like bubbling. It has that effect.
And he's like, oh shit.
With eggs, and there's a couple of spiders just
gross.
slowly crawling out. That was gross.
Well, they're not crawling out yet, but it's pulsating. And then you meet Big Bob, the general. Well, is the initial spider.
Yeah, he tries to run out the cellar door and it's locked.
He puts the padlock on. He's like, fuck, and nobody can hear him.
And so he grabs
a shovel. And he's swinging because he sees this fucking thing, right? And then the spider gets on the shovel and almost gets him again. And he throws that shovel into the electric box, which I thought was pretty cool when it electrocutes it and it's stuck on the electrocution thing. And then you've seen all its goo leave its body.
Its soul left its body.
How'd you like that? I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, it was a little cheesy, but
he got one of them.
He's like, yes.
And then the other thing that he finds a lighter and all the chaos that he has going on, and then he grabs a bottle of champagne, and
does he do it at this point? Because doesn't the spider launch at him? The queen does.
No, not yet. So this battle goes on for a minute. And so he grabs a bottle of champagne.
Oh, yeah, he's throwing that champagne, which, is it flammable? Is champagne flammable?
It's alcohol.
Yeah, but is it flammable?
For this purposes of this movie, yes, it is, Richard.
So he's trying to douse the nest, and that's where the queen launches at him, right?
So Big Bob hisses at him, and he's kind of stepping back. He's gonna, the plan is that he's gonna light him up. And yeah, so the spider launches at him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he grabs the lighter. No, he tries to hit it with the broken bottle.
Yeah.
When it comes at him.
Well, because then the wine cellar, like the racks fall on him. And he's like, oh, fuck. And then he sees the spider back there. So he starts throwing bottles and he's like, oh, not the chateau. And he puts that aside and throws out their fucking bottle at it. And then finally gets out of there. And that's where he finds the lighter and then the paint can, the spray paint.
And then he kind of sits back, waiting for Big Bob to jump at him. So he can light him up. And this is, I thought it was very funny. He starts singing Itsy Bitsy Spider.
Yeah, he's like, fuck it, dude. He's about lost his mind. He's like, dude, do or die time.
Which I'm impressed. He completely, it's like he's conquering his phobia.
Oh, dude, 100%.
And yeah, so Big Bob launches at him.
Clearly the family left him behind. Like, they have made no attempts to try to save him. The exterminator is taking way too long.
And then you see the spider slowly crawling up one of his legs. And they're just like, they're having a freaking eye-to-eye contest as the freaking Big Bob is crawling up his leg, just staring at him right in the eye.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator moment. He's like, kill me now. You remember that? I don't think you've ever seen Predator. Have you?
I think I have. I have.
Oh, we have to watch that. It's one of my all-time favorites.
I thought it was called Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, yeah, but I can have other all-time favorites. Predator is another one. Okay.
Sounds good.
Anyways, they have the stare down, and he's trying to light the spider on fire, right?
Yeah, and there's a piece of wood on Ross's leg.
Not yet. So he's lighting the house on fire, though. Like, pretty much, like, obviously he's not worried about the house just completely engulfing in flames, but he works its way around, and then it goes through the tube, goes up the tube or whatever. And he's like, all right, motherfucker, I got you now. And he's ready with the paint and the spray. And he's waiting for it to come, and it launches at his face. And then he gets knocked down. And then like some brush hits him, like a piece of wood is on him. And now the spider is staring him down and walks up his leg. And all well, he's like, oh, shit. He's frozen or whatever, but he's waiting. And this is what you're talking about. Go ahead.
And then?
Go ahead.
I forgot what it was.
So the spider he waits for the spider to get closer, and then on that stick, he launches it into the flame.
And then what happens, Richard?
And then you have that crazy fucking spider, like the cool scene where the spider's running on fire towards him. And then he grabs that nail gun, and he's like, all right. And then he like cocks it and does the typical nail gun thing, even though in real life this shit doesn't work like that. He shoots the spider perfectly into the spider nest and puts it on fire. You hear it pop. It's kind of a satisfying pop too. It's like
deflate.
Yeah, and then he kills all the spiders that are at that point coming out of the nest. Then he catches it all on fire and kills them.
The coward becomes the hero.
And then that John Goodman's character
Delbert
finally pulls him out.
Again, he comes out to find out by this point, they've been doing their job on the outside and most of the spiders are dead.
So that's kind of the end of the story. It finishes up with them moving back into town. She gets her job back. Now they don't have to worry. Now they don't have to worry about insects. They got to worry about earthquakes.
Yeah, he's going on and on about how great San Francisco is and there's nothing bad. He's like, we don't have to wonder about this. We don't have to be wondering about that. And then it's just like earthquake after earthquake.
Dude, I love have you seen the South Park episode where Kyle's dad gets a Prius and then he's smug, so he has to move to San Francisco and then they just all start smelling their farts because they're so smug.
No, I haven't.
That's a good one. Anyways, that does it for Arachnophobia. Now that we discussed it, dissect it, how do you feel about it?
I like it.
You like it?
I still like it.
What would you recommend this movie?
I would recommend.
You recommend it?
I would recommend it. Everybody needs to watch it.
I will too. Even though it's not scary, I thought it was more scary when I was younger. This definitely is funny, and it has its moments of like creeps me out.
So it's not gory, but it has a different effect. I think it's more mental for people that are scared of spiders like yourself. Although there's a lot of
calling me out, dude.
Although there's a lot of comedic elements to it, it's still give you the hibbity-jibbities and you were jumping throughout.
I thought John Goodman had more parts in this movie. Again, she should have had more parts. It just blows my mind. I thought of it a different way. It was weird.
He was just a sidekick, like me. I'm just kidding.
Whatever. We're both the talent, okay? So yeah, no, I recommend this movie to anybody. Like, at least watch it once, but I haven't watched this since probably in 20 years, but revisiting it was pretty awesome. And I'm glad you recommended this movie to watch because it really was entertaining. I have no issues with this movie. Does it have some flaws? Yes, but overall, I was thoroughly entertained throughout this whole movie. I watched it twice, all the way through in 1 week.
Nice. Look at you go.
Yeah. So 4 hours of my life.
I'm watching spiders.
Yeah. So yeah, what would you rate this movie?
I would do a 3.5, I think. A 3. Yeah, 3.5.
Wait, a 5.5 out of 5?
Yeah. 3.
You give it a 3?
3.
You are hard to fucking please, dude. Okay. I give this one a 4.2.
Oh, what? Oh, we're doing 0.2s and stuff, not just
You said a 3.5.
Yeah, I know, but like that's like in half.
I'm giving it a 4.2 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
I thought this was a pretty good movie. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Now, this did get pretty good reviews, though. It got positive reviews. Critics praised the film's unique blend of horror and comedy. The combination of scares and humor delivered by a talented cast struck a chord with the reviewers. It currently holds a favorable rating on a review aggregator sites like Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb. It still holds pretty strong. Do you know what the actual ratings are?
IMDb holds a 6.5 out of 10.
That's pretty good.
Rotten Tomatoes is a 93%.
Holy
and
shit.
Metacritic has 67%.
Wow. Dude, that's pretty good. Roger Ebert's review, he gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, noting how it effectively walked the line between being genuinely scary and hilarious, like other reviewers. He highlighted how Frank Marshall managed to keep tension balanced with moments of relief, which I agree with him.
If you had to be a character on this movie, which one would you be? John Goodman.
What?
Oh, no?
I think it's obvious. I'm not smart. I'm not
Atherton?
a doctor, but I would be fucking Dr. Jennings. Come on, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I got a fear of spider. But let's be real. I'd probably be like one of the side characters. I'd be the football player that dies instantly. I wouldn't be the main character. I'd be taken out quickly.
Oh.
But yeah.
Fun fact, no spiders were harmed in the making of this movie.
No. Yeah. Fascinating. And dude, their basic effects were great in this. It's such a relief not to see CGI. Like in the movies. Like when you see older movies, I like the practical effects. How about you? Like sometimes that CGI just gets it's awful. It takes me out of a movie.
No, I'm not very good at spotting I mean, yes, it's CGI, but it doesn't bother me.
What?
It's whatever.
Okay.
But it is cool to see that they use real elements, like everything was real.
I like it. Like practical effects like blood. That stuff's huge, dude. Like when you can tell when they use CGI blood in movies now, it's like, dude, that splatter sucked.
It's
like I want to see the real, like I want to see them use their little like blast packs. Yeah, and fucking have them go off. But yeah, no. I thought that was pretty good. Do you have any fun facts for this?
I do. Do you want to do fun facts or see if there's reviews?
Oh, Vienna's review corner.
No.
Guys, we're in for a real treat. She is awake. We didn't talk her to death. She's been patiently sitting in the review corner section of our studio.
With her review hat on.
She's getting organized right now, guys. She's coming in. She's coming in hot.
Oh.
All right. Vienna, how you doing?
Liar. You're a liar.
Whoa. You're coming in hot here. What's going on?
Why'd you say I hate the Master of Puppets album?
Dude, you made that fucking comment.
I did not. When did I ever?
You're like, yeah, Master of Puppets is kind of overrated.
No.
It's outplayed. It's overplayed.
I meant the song.
Even then, I'm taking that as a
I've-
slight. It's Metallica.
I know it is. It's a good song. That's what I started off with.
We're seeing them in Seattle.
I know. That's what I started off with. But I've heard it too many times. I'm so sorry.
I don't hear it enough.
A little too many.
Wow.
And you ruined my Megadeth. I was listening to Megadeth, so
What?
I was listening to Megadeth in the review corner.
Oh,
Yeah.
what song out of Megadeth?
Symphony of Destruction.
Oh, the
first
worst
one.
song. Dude, oh my god. What about Holy Wars?
That one's
Peace
good.
Sells. Come on, man.
Okay.
There's others.
There's other.
Gears of War.
Do your best Dave Mustaine impression.
Oh. Hello, me. Meet the real me. I think that's bullets. Sweating bullets.
I think.
Now you do your Dave.
I don't want to do my Dave.
You got it. You just gotta act really nasally. Like, come on, guys. Metallica kicked me out. Come on, Vienna. Come on, I did it. We're waiting.
I'm trying to think of a song.
Do Peace Sells.
Okay, reviews.
Mm-mm.
I'll do.
Oh my god. Okay, we'll revisit this. She's too cool for school.
No, I'm laughing too much.
Mm-hmm.
Also, my cargos are superior to yours. It has an extra pocket than yours. It has 7 pockets.
You got 7 pockets for your hopes and dreams.
Yeah, one of them is for I got them from thrifting, but they're from Cabela's, so it's like for a knife. So I can slaughter anyone who gets in the way of my hopes and dreams.
Oh my god. This child is something else. Okay.
Okay.
So before you get into the reviews, you watched this movie with us. How do you feel about it?
I watched it originally, with my mom,
Mhm.
during COVID. I thought it was a little scarier then, just more thriller. I guess it I don't know. It got more jumpy then.
Mm-hmm.
I do have arachnophobia. That's my worst fear.
Solidarity.
I hate spiders, but I thought it was pretty okay.
Did you like Infested or Arachnophobia? Because I feel like Arachnophobia was more effective than Infested.
Okay, Infested. I think it might have been because it was my first time watching Infested,
Mm.
but it got me.
It had parts for me too, but again, they were more CGI'd. They
Yeah.
weren't like the practical effects and weren't real spiders.
Yeah.
Like Arachnophobia used real spiders.
Yeah, which kind of made my skin crawl when I heard that. I was
Like in the
"Oh."
shower, there's a shower scene in Infested too, but it's
Yeah.
not as effective.
Uh-uh.
But anyways, how do you personally rate this?
Well, this time around, probably a 3, but the first time probably a 4.
Damn. Each time you watch it, I try to base a movie review off all time.
So in the middle, I guess 3.5.
Damn. Okay, that's respectable. I give it a 4.2. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. Too generous.
No, I'm not. I'm just a horror enthusiast. I'm obsessed. We're finding out you guys aren't.
Too obsessed.
Angeles doesn't even know who Jason Voorhees
'Cause
was,
you're-
guys.
It's because you're autistic.
She thought Jason Voorhees. Wow.
Hey, I can say that. I can say
She she thought Jason Voorhees was Michael Myers.
that.
They all wear masks.
Oh my god. That's her defense, guys. Blow her up on Instagram.
I
They
used to
just start blending. It's like mask.
I used to get that mixed up too. I used to get them mixed up.
Yeah, but you were a small child. That's
No,
understandable.
I mean a year ago.
Get the fuck out of here. Anyways, I digress. Your reviews. Do
Reviews.
you got some good reviews?
People were kind of boring on these. You guys need to leave better reviews.
Okay. Whoa.
I'm kidding. I love you.
Again, blow her up. Our Instagram handle, hashtag horror cinema obsession, guys.
Hash brown?
Yep, hash brown horror cinema obsession.
Okay. Okay, someone said, exciting, creepy, fast-paced thriller. Highly recommend, 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I would. This one was funny. I would love to beat Ross Jennings with a broom handle. 1 out of 10. That was my favorite one.
Wow.
Okay. I fell asleep watching it, and my mom woke me up by running her fingers up and down my arms. I didn't sleep right for weeks after that.
Dude, that's what my mom would have done.
Well, no, she would have done
I
it for
know.
the stories.
Oh my God.
Arachnophobia is the Jaws of spider movies. Fight me. 4.5 stars. Yeah.
Dang, I don't agree with that because we see spiders quite a bit.
I got arachnophobia after watching this crap at 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't suffer from arachnophobia, then you're watching a comedy. 3 stars.
Yeah, I agree with that.
My mom has arachnophobia, so it was funny to see her reactions. 1.5 stars.
What? One? I don't get the rating, but okay.
Peace out.
What? Whoa, do it again. Do it again.
I'm not doing it. That was bad.
No, that was pretty good. You got to commit a little bit more.
No. That's all you get.
Peace out. Who's buying? Hey, I don't care. There's no shame in this game.
Warheads will all rust in peace.
You separate the art from artist, by the way.
Spread disease like it. Anyway.
I don't know what we're doing here. But cool. Do you have any more reviews?
That's it.
All right. Awesome.
All of them were like, I got arachnophobia. Okay, say something new.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for the review corner. Guess what, guys? We're going to try to incorporate Vienna a little bit more into our episodes.
I'm slowly taking over. I'm going to, by the end, by episode like 20, it's going to be my podcast.
I don't know about that, but
No,
I just feel bad when she's just sitting there waiting for her part. I feel like we can include her a little bit more into the episode. So I think we'll get her a mic and we'll start having her participate a little bit more.
I have fun in my corner.
I know.
Sleeping.
Oh my God. All right. Angelus, did you have any reviews?
Not today, Richard.
What the hell? You half-assed this episode.
No, I spent a lot of time going down rabbit holes and looking up fun facts and trivia.
Okay, what kind of fun facts and trivia you got?
I'm just gonna give you some small ones.
Well, I want them all, baby.
You want them all?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, like I said earlier, all of the spiders that they use are real. It was the first.
You know what kind of spiders they used? They're harmless.
They're harmless?
Yeah, do you know the name of it?
And what is the name of them?
I don't know, I'm asking you.
Oh, Avondale spiders. Or Delina cancerides, their scientific name. So they were real. They did Spider Olympics, and all of them came from New Zealand. They were bringing in truckloads of spiders, 300 a week.
That makes sense in Australia, dude. I watched a thing once where spiders were migrating and the whole ground was moving. It looked like it was moving, but it was spiders migrating across the road. Isn't that insane? I don't think I ever want to go to Australia.
I don't think that's going to be, I don't know, maybe one day if I'm brave enough, or maybe go stay, I don't know, get a tour and have someone tell me where to go I'm not going to get scared.
When we fight the good fight, when we finally make you a U.S. citizen, we'll go on vacation. Do you either want to go to Australia or do you want to go to the UK?
I'm going to, what do you mean when I'm a citizen?
A U.S. citizen. Official.
You can travel without being a citizen.
Because you might not make it back into the country.
That's if you're not a resident.
Oh.
We're not talking immigration laws on the podcast, Richard. You don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I just want her to be a citizen.
I don't want to be a citizen.
Dang, that's messed up.
That's messed up. Anyways, back to the spiders, because they're so much more fun. They freaking did a casting with 10 species of spiders, and they looked to see who jumped the highest, looked scarier, their reaction to hot and the cold, and then all those sound effects whenever there were spiders being squished. It was like potato chips and other sounds that they were making to give it the effect that it was a crunching sound at times.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Oh, you sound so enthused.
I don't know. It's interesting. I like it.
they use lemon pledge. That was one of their things that they use to control the spiders. They don't like the stickiness on their feet.
Yeah.
So if they wanted the spiders to walk on a certain path, they would spray around the area where they didn't want them, and they would guide them around.
Interesting. That's cool.
The guy that was in charge of the spiders, his name's Steven Kutcher. He worked on Exorcist 2 with like 3,000 locusts, and then he did like 40,000 carpenter spiders that he was in charge of for an episode of Wonder Woman.
Wow.
And just worked with a ton of other insects throughout his life.
That's cool.
Any dead spiders that were in the movie, they had died of natural causes. He just collected them and placed them on the scenes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So this guy's a really hero of the movie.
And then every time John Goodman's character was going around spraying pesticide, it was really just water that he was spraying.
Oh, on the spiders?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Cool. Do you have anything else?
The only spider that was not a New Zealand spider was Big Bob. He was a bird-eating tarantula. And Frank, the director, named him after a fellow director, Robert Zemeckis.
Yes. Zemeckis, he did Back to the Future and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, that's cool. I know we got to start wrapping up. Do we want to give a thanks to people that have been participating on our social media?
Yeah, thanks to everyone who's been reaching out, interacting with us.
Hopefully you got, like, we were giving out as promotion, like free stickers. We try to send out like a letter with it. So let us know if you've got it. We appreciate the support. We were getting quite a few. So it's been all positive so far. We're what, a month in?
Over a month.
Yeah. I feel like we've got a pretty good support. Has it been 2 months?
Almost 2 months. We started at the beginning of April. 1st of April.
Wow.
I know. All of April and part of May were, episode 7.
Mm-hmm. So
7 weeks.
Yeah, we're going strong. And yeah, where can they reach us?
Instagram, Horror Cinema Obsession.
Be on the lookout, guys. We're going to have our first, we're moving on to TikTok.
Try to reach out to all the peoples of the internet.
Yeah, so we're be on the lookout for our videos on TikTok. Hopefully we get comfortable. You might see our faces. Are you excited for that, Angelus?
No.
Whoa. What? You have a beautiful face. I know you told me I have a face for radio, but yours is meant for the screen. Uh-huh. But yeah, so TikTok, please reach out. Our email is horrorcinemaobsession@hotmail.com. With that, do you want to say goodbye?
Adios, amigos. Until next time.
Yep. Hasta luego.
Thanks for listening to Horror Cinema Obsession. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If so, help spread the word by leaving a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And join us next time for another episode of Horror Cinema Obsession.